We seen it last night as well with Sean Dyche. I understand it, Adrian, but please, please, respect the competition.
Absolutely right, Alvin Martin, thank you very much. We'll be back with you shortly. Let's go around the grounds for FA Cup third round team news, and we'll start here at the Etihad. Man City face third tier Exeter. With us for this one, TalkSport Sean Dunn.
Antoine Semenyo starts to make his Manchester City debut just a day after signing from Bournemouth. 17-year-old Ryan McKenna also starts. That's his first senior appearance for the club. 6 changes in total from Wednesday's draw here with Brighton. The players that remain in the 11 are Kusanov, Elaine, Akin, Reinders, and surprisingly Haaland. City progressed to the final in each of the last 3 seasons. Trafford in goal, Lewis, Kusanov, Elaine and Atkins in the defence, Reinders, Rodri and Cherky in midfield. Semenyo will join Haaland and Mikado as a front 3. 2 changes to the Exeter 11 that drew at Huddersfield 6 days ago. Jack Aitchison and Jack Doyle-Hayes come in, replacing Jack McMillan and Akil Higgins. Whilst Gary Caldwell was the Wigan club captain when they beat City in the 2013 final. 1 defeat in the last 5 for the Grecians, 14th in League One, backed by nearly 8,000 supporters today. Whitworth in goal, Fitzwater, Turns and Woodhouse in defence, Niskasen, Briley, Doyle-Harris and Oates in midfield. Cole and Aitchison will support Wareham in attack. Here at the Etihad Stadium, Manchester City and Exeter.
National League, Boreham Wood love the FA Cup, and they have a great opportunity to get to the 4th round as they take on out of form League One strugglers Burton. There for TalkSport, Ian Abrams.
Luke Garrard has guided the Wood to a 4th round appearance in its 3rd round appearance in the FA Cup 4 times in the last 6 years. Even took them to Everton in the 5th round 3 years ago. His side today are favourites to beat Burton. They've already beat Crawley here 3-0 and Newport here 3-0. Never in the history of the FA Cup has a non-league side beaten a league side at home by 3 goals or more. Today they'll be favourites against the Burton side who have Dudek in goal, no relation, Lofthouse in midfield, no relation, and who are struggling in League One. It's Boreham Wood against Burton Albion at Meadow Park.
Well, we heard from Albion not earlier. He's at Craven Cottage, where 2 sides who have been to FA Cup finals but never won the famous trophy. They meet. Fulham take on Middlesbrough in front of TalkSport Sam Allard.
Yeah, Fulham losing 3-0 to the eventual winners Crystal Palace to the quarter-final stage last season, but this is the Fulham team in really good form, beating Chelsea on Wednesday to go 5 unbeaten into the top half and just 4 points off top 4. Just Cuenca, Castagne, Diop and Smith-Rowe keep their place in the 11 from the midweek win. Kusi Asare, on loan from Bayern Munich, makes his first start of the season. Prior to Sunday's impressive 4-0 win against Southampton, Middlesbrough were on a 4-match winless run. They have not passed this stage of the competition since 2022, but they go strong today, making just 2 changes. Alex Gilbert and Alex Brown come into the team. Fulham Middlesbrough, 3 o'clock kickoff.
There is penalties. Everton 1, Sunderland 1. Everton missed their first. Sunderland have scored theirs. It's on TalkSport 2. We will take the conclusion of those penalties shortly. But the Brentford manager, Keith Andrews, gave a guarantee this week he is taking his 3rd round tie seriously. They're away to bottom of the Championship Sheffield Wednesday. This one watched by TalkSport Aaron Biggs.
Yeah, for Brentford, 5th in the Premier League. This really a viable competition to win, providing they avoid a 3rd round exit for what would be the 4th time running. 39 places separate these teams, but some might relief for Sheffield Wednesday from their perpetual turmoil. No win in 19, but surprise victors over Leeds in the Carabao Cup this season. Changes are plenty, of course, not that Wednesday have scud for many. They make 4 with Barry Bannon rested completely, a very young team with Emery, Shipston, Alao coming in alongside Ingleson. There are 8 Brentford changes. Henry, Jensen and Lewis Potter, the only ones who started the midweek win over Sunderland. Still a fairly strong lineup, even though there's no Igor Thiago even on the bench. Sheffield Wednesday versus Brentford.
Well, Everton have missed their 2nd penalty. Sunderland have scored theirs. So Sunderland 2-0 up in the penalty shootout in the FA Cup 3rd round at Hill Dickinson. Let's join the commentary with Charlie Adam and Cameron Poe.
Very quickly, as we welcome listeners from TalkSport, we've heard plenty of drama in the FA Cup so far. And it's going to be Beto for Everton. Everton having missed their first 2 penalties. Sunderland have scored their first 2. It's not match point yet, but this really has to go in. A central and short runner. Beto saved again. 3 saves in a row for Robin Roos. And Sunderland are on the cusp now. Poor penalty after poor penalty. And Roos got down comfortably to it. And now, as Luke O'Nien steps forward for Sunderland,
It looks like their spot in the fourth round of the FA Cup is all but assured. And they were made to work for it at times through extra time. Brought back into a contest at the end of 90 minutes after James Garner's late penalty cancelled out Enzo Lefebvre's first half goal. But now, in the shootout, we're at the shortest possible route to a resolution. Two perfect penalties so far for Sunderland, taken by Lefebvre and Xhaka. Can 09 bring up the trio? Right footed, stretches out his runner. Pickford has to save this for Everton. It's 09, and he's scored 3 out of 3, and Sunderland are into the hat for the fourth round of the FA Cup. Boos ring out from the home supporters, but it's going wild in the away end. Nearly 8,000 Sunderland fans on their feet, twirling their scarves. They did it the hard way in the end, they did it the long way, but Sunderland are heading through. And after a 1-1 draw in normal time and a goalless period of extra time, this one has finished in an unorthodox penalty shootout. The final score on penalties, Everton none, Sunderland 3.
Wow, Everton holding Sunderland 1-1 at Hill Dickinson after the 90. Goes to extra time and penalties, and they can't convert a single one. Probably more concerning in a World Cup year, the England keeper can't get near a single Sunderland penalty, and Sunderland make it through 3-0 on pens. And the irony is, Everton forced extra time and penalties by scoring a late penalty. Everton go out, Sunderland go through elsewhere. Cheltenham 0, Leicester 2 was a full time. Wolves 6, Shrewsbury 1. Jurgen Strand-Larsen with a hat-trick for Wolverhampton Wanderers against the League 2 strugglers this afternoon in a derby. So Wolves make it through, so do Leicester, so do Sunderland, and so do National League North Macclesfield, who have provided us on TalkSport with the greatest FA Cup shot of all time. They've beaten the holders, Premier League Crystal Palace, by 2-1. The Eagles have landed, and they have crash landed as well. We're about to get underway in the 3 o'clock kickoffs here at the Etihad. It's League One Exeter will get us underway against Manchester City, who are cheating really by starting the likes of Erling Haaland, Semenyo as well. Hashtag pray for Exeter, although that's probably what a lot of people were saying when they kicked off at Montrose earlier. We're underway. When we're done at around 5:30, there are 2 more third-round ties on TalkSport.
Comes out towards Oliver, whose first time shot takes it back to his head, and Richarlison scores. He scores the winner, and then McGinn slams it in from 25 yards.
Chance to equalise, saved by Rutherford, and then in on the follow-up. Charlton have equalised.
Brought it back to Enzo. Can he get the shot away? Oh boy, he can get the shot away. What a finish from the Chelsea skipper.
Yeah, there's 2 more live commentaries coming up when we're done at 5:30. It's a 5:45 kick-off as Spurs take on Aston Villa. Thomas Frank wants to hold a different kind of cup this week, and after that it's a London derby at 8 as Charlton take on Chelsea. Scott Minto on commentary duty for that. He started his career at Charlton, loves the club. Then won the FA Cup with Chelsea, loves that club too, so that's going to be interesting. Tomorrow FA Cup game day starts at 11. Our first third round tie is Derby against Leeds, followed by Portsmouth against Arsenal, followed by our exclusive, I'll be at Old Trafford for Manchester United against Brighton. So that's all to come on TalkSport. Last night as well, let me remind you what happened. Championship Oxford were a goal down at League 2. MK Dons, but survived to win the penalty shootout. Port Vale's new manager John Brady saw his side beat League 2 Fleetwood 1-0. Vale bottom of League 1 at the moment. And teenager Harrison Batoni scored Wigan's winner at Dickdale to knock out Championship Preston. Wigan boss Ryan Lowe said afterwards he enjoyed going back to his old club and knocking them out. But the story of the weekend, the story of this season's and any season's FA Cup is at Montrose. Macclesfield beating Crystal Palace by 2-1. You've had all the reaction live from the stadium on TalkSport. Right, let's go around the grounds on TalkSport. Well, they get underway on game day live because of extraordinary events at Macclesfield. How's the early stages gone here at the Etihad? Robert Huth and John Dunn.
2 minutes gone, Manchester City 0, Exeter 0. Debutant Antoine Semenyo's had a couple of touches. He started on the left-hand side looking to supply, or maybe scored himself, but Erling Haaland starts, surprisingly, one of 6 that remain in the Manchester City starting 11 from the draw here against Brighton. Exeter lower end of League 1, 14th. They've only got 1 loss in their last 5. 8,000 Exeter fans here. Some of them will have travelled to Old Trafford back in 2005 when they got themselves a 0-0 draw at Trafford Park. Manchester City have got to the last 3 finals. For Exeter, Robert, what would be the key in this game if they had to go and do a Macclesfield?
Oh, yeah. Defensively solid, obviously, work hard. Of course, you need a bit of luck, for sure. And obviously, when you get the ball, that's what you do with them, because you're not going to have too much for if you Exeter today. But when you have it, you can make it count, and yeah.
As well as Antoine Semenyo, we've got 17-year-old Ryan McAdoo making his debut. He's just nutmegged Ethan Briley in the middle of midfield. 17-year-old, very confident lad by all accounts. He's come through the academy. He's one that the supporters really excited to see. He's already showing why.
Exactly. I just watched him in the warm-up as well. He looked very, very comfortable. Heavily left-footed, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do today. But he looks full of confidence. Like I said, the nutmeg was very, very cheeky.
Manchester City dominating possession in and around the penalty area. We've had 3.5 minutes. It's Manchester City 0, Exeter 0.
We've got a couple of League 2 games ongoing as well. Tranmere 0, Bromley 1 is the latest score. Michael Cheek with his 13th of the season. Bromley top of the table. Actually, they drew 3-3 with Tranmere in October. They were 13th then. Since that draw, Bromley have won 11 of 13 league games. An incredible run, and that's why Andy Woodman's side are top of the table. Let's head to Meadow Park, FA Cup third round, Ian Abrams.
And it's Bournemouth 0, Burton 0. Bournemouth have made the strongest start. In fact, Newton's bowling for Rush almost found the striker inside the penalty area. Not quite. By the way, we had some drama here. A couple of hours before kick-off, Adrian. We had an emergency ambulance helicopter on the pitch inside one of the penalty areas. They're allowed to land. They don't have to ask permission. Bournemouth knew nothing about it. There was an emergency outside the ground. Thankfully, everything was sorted out. But it was weird to get here and find a helicopter on the pitch. No take-off yet for either side here, though. Bournemouth 0, Burton 0.
Exeter have got a penalty. Sorry, they've got a corner. My apologies. Now that would have been a story. So let's just hold on here for a second. I'll remind you that Cheltenham 0, Leicester 2 was a full-time. Everton, Sunderland finished 1-1. Sunderland winning 3-0 on penalties in a game that was live on TalkSport. I'll tell you what, John Dunn, Exeter nearly took the lead in.
Well, the first shot of the game, as you mentioned, from Jaden Ware, left side of the penalty area, deflected wide. Corner has come in from Ethan Briley on the right. Liam Oakes has risen high, the teenager, close to the goal, and it's needed James Trafford making a rare start to tip the ball over the bar, and we said Exeter needed to start brightly, Robert. Defensively, they're on the front foot.
Yeah, best chance so far. Good save by Trafford. I think set piece would be a good chance for them to get a goal today.
They've got another corner here, and Ethan Briley, who took it on the right, is going to come across to this left-hand side. A boyhood Manchester City fan, former Rochdale midfielder, would love to sparkle this afternoon. His corner, flicked away by Nathan Ackey, comes out to where there was a foul in the area. It remains Manchester City 0, Exeter 0.
Yeah, okay, in a bad way there. He was basically headed. His head was headed by the Exeter player. That is a sensational save from James Trafford in the City goal. In fact, it's so good that I caught him looking up at the big screen to admire his own save. Let's go to Craven Cottage. 0-0 here. Let's go to Craven Cottage. Alvin Martin and Sam Ellard.
6 gone, Fulham 0, Middlesbrough 0, but a massive chance from Middlesbrough already. Silvera found it down the right, great ball into the box. Conway just a couple of yards from goal, got his shot away, but Lecomte made a really good save. But Conway from a couple of yards out really had to score. Then at the other end, Adama Traore picked out Kevin, who came in from the left. He snatched a shot and went wide, but Alvin for Conway there for Borough. What a big opportunity so early on.
Well, it's a really good game of football. Both teams are getting the ball down, they're passing it, they're being very patient. They've got a little bit of long and short to the game, Middlesbrough. Ayling, especially when he's got the ball at the back, he's got the range to be able to pick a long pass out. And he's already done that once with Conway. But you're right, the football down the right for Middlesbrough was brilliant. A very good save from the Fulham keeper there. I'm looking at a game really where they're looking like they're enjoying this, Middlesbrough. They class themselves probably at this level, and they're enjoying pitting their wits against a Premier League team.
Really good start to this game here. Both sides playing some nice football. 7 gone. Fulham 0, Middlesbrough 0.
TalkSport takes you to Hillsborough. Aaron Biggs.
Yeah, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Brentford 0 in just the 8th minute. Bit of a triumph, you might think, for Sheffield Wednesday amid their perpetual struggles to be holding a Premier League team that's 5th in the Premier League this long even. But in fact, The Sheffield Wednesday team have made a very confident and aggressive start to this, very purposeful, haven't forced any chances yet. Brentford just looking to take the early sting out of it, if you'll forgive the pun, by keeping possession for long spells, but it's clear it won't be entirely easy for them. The FA Cup, I think, is something that Brentford really should be concentrating strongly on. They've never been beyond the quarter-finals, have a poor record in recent seasons, so well backed by several hundred travellers from London here. The onus is on them to get through this stage. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Brentford 0.
Goal at Doncaster, Mark Wilson.
Yeah, Doncaster 0, Southampton 1. Cameron Bragg is who's tucked in from close range. It was a break. It looked like there was a foul. Flynn Downs bundled over the Donny captain. Owen Bale in the centre circle. Referee waves play on. Downs brought forward, played a lovely ball into the path of Matsuki. His shot took a deflection, was well saved by Lototala, but there was Bragg to tuck it in. Southampton have started well. 7 changes for them. They gave a debut to their new keeper, Daniel Peretz, in goal. He's not much to do yet. Doncaster 0, Southampton 1.
Peretz, the Israeli international, kicked a hat-trick against Erling Haaland when Israel were battered by Norway just a couple of months ago. Let's go to Turkey. What latest there, Dave Rowe?
It's Burnley 0, Millwall 0. Burnley have been the strongest side so far by some distance. Scott Parker has gone relatively strong today without to win in 12 Premier League games. He hasn't made 8 changes, but it is a fairly strong side he has out on the field today. Ashley Barnes starting out up front. No Zian Fleming, still injured, can't face his former club. They've had the one effort on goal so far. Larson teeing up Jade Nancy, whose effort was blocked. Millwall themselves, of course, have got big fish to fry in the Championship. They've made 7 changes. Plenty of their big hitters have got without completely. No Ivanovic or Nebly or keeper Crocombe or Kramer. So Alex Hill does have his priorities elsewhere. 9 plays, Burnley 0, Millwall 0.
Going in the National League, Solid Moresby, they'd already shot 1-0. Joseph Barrow with 5, big 5 on loan from Doncaster, who we just heard losing to Southampton in the FA Cup 5-0. Also in the FA Cup third round. We're at Pullman Road on TalkSport. Mike Sewell.
9 minutes played, Ipswich 0, Blackpool 0, but Ipswich have already tested out the Blackpool goalkeeper, Bailey Peacock foul, a corner from Ashley Young from the right, powerfully headed by Cedric Hipray and tipped over by Peacock Farrell. It's also worth noting that Ashley Young is a former winner of the FA, well, he is a winner of the FA Cup with Manchester United 10 years ago, and made his FA Cup debut 19 years ago. He's now 40 years of age. Interestingly, Kieran McKenna has named his top 2 goals.
You can see there's willing runners there trying to just nod the ball into the back of the net. Ramsdale chasing across his goal to clear his lines.
10 minutes played on TalkSport 2. Newcastle 0, Bournemouth 0. Another corner this time on the right-hand side. The left foot of Brooks is going to deliver this one. Under the crossbar again, and Ramsdale.
With Anthony throwing a lovely ball to Bryn Larson. Bryn Larson squaring the ball across the area, and Butch on the penalty spot. Barnes there to sweep it home. Burnley 1, Millwall 0.
York City can go top of the National League today. They'll go down there. And lonely Sutton will sit after the goal after 8 minutes. Back to the FA Cup. We're at St James Park on TalkSport. Steve Anderson.
It's Newcastle 0, Bournemouth 0. 10 gone on the clock. Bournemouth life after Antoine Semenyo started really well. 2 or 3 shots at goal, and Alex Scott there's just this one just over the top of Ramsdale's bar. Best chance of the afternoon fell to Johan Wisser. Newcastle moved the ball well across the 18-yard box. Wisser curling into the far corner, and Petric made a fantastic.
Was Alex Gilbert, who's actually only featured for Middlesbrough this season since the change of manager, when Kim Hellberg came into the side. The young Swedish coach, who's done very well at the Riverside. Free kick though for Fulham. Reid is standing over it. Sessman is also there. It will be Reid who kills it. And Kusiasari had a go. Kevin's had a volley. That was blocked by Hackney. He really caught hold of that as well, didn't he, off his right foot. Goal at Manchester City, Lee Blake. And it's gone to Manchester City, and Max Allain, the youngster who's recently returned on loan from Watford, has got it. Corner wasn't dealt with. It was bundled over the line, in off the post. A brilliant moment.
Coventry now.
We have the deadlock broken here at the Etihad Stadium. Robert Huth and John Dunn.
12 minutes gone, Manchester City 1, Exeter 0, and Max Allain, the 20-year-old, is the second appearance for the club, has scored his first goal. Little bit scrappy, got that scrambled, it came to Allain, he's poked poked it goalwards. It came off the post. It rolled along the line. It was cleared away. Everyone looks at the referee. Goal line technology says goal. And Alay joyous in his celebration. Big moment for the young man, but big moment in the game, Robert.
Yes, he did well keeping the ball alive. Aki heading it back too hard and he knocked it down. Bit of a ricochet in the middle of the goal. And just a poacher's finish. Hit the post and just crept over the line.
Is the key now for Exeter how they deal with that setback? It will be easy for heads to drop.
Yeah, of course. And if you get a goal, well, you would have said, keep it tight for the first 15-20 minutes. And obviously they haven't. Now it's going to be a long 90 minutes. But they had their chances and they're doing well so far. Is when they have the ball, that's what's going to be the fighting point. Because we're not going to have too much ball in that game. But so when they have it, then we can make it stick.
13 minutes gone. Manchester City 1, Exeter 0.
Yeah, first ever meeting between these two clubs. Alan Ball, the late great Alan Ball, England World Cup winner, managed both of these football clubs. City 1-0 up already. Max Lanning had a really good loan spell at Watford first half of the season, only just come back. Scored an own goal for Watford on loan. He scored a proper goal for Man City in the FA Cup. They lead Exeter 1-0. Don't forget the Manchester derby next Saturday lunchtime, live and exclusive and only here on TalkSport. FA Cup third round from the 3 o'clock games then. Goals at Turf Moor where Burnley lead Millwall 1-0. Southampton have won at Doncaster. Here at the Etihad, Manchester City 1, Exeter 0. No further FA Cup goals. In League One, results earlier. Luton beat Stevenage 2-1. Came from behind for the win after missing a penalty as well, Jack Wilshire's side. Luton go above Stevenage and into 7th place, 1 place off the playoffs. Stockport 1, Huddersfield 0. A 96-minute winner for County. They go above Huddersfield into 4th place. In the National League, Aldershot 0, Solihull Moors 1, it's Sutton 1, York City 0, and also in the National League, Woking League, Hartlepool by a goal to 0. Ollie Sanderson has scored it. We've got a goal in League 1 as well. Cardiff at the top of the table, they trail at Orient 1-0. Don Ballard, Orient's top scorer, one of the top scorers in League 1. The former Southampton youngster has got the goal. Orient 1, Cardiff City 0. Bradford's game with Rotherham was postponed earlier. That late Orient 1, Cardiff 0 game, one of only 2 in that division. FA Trophy 4th round ties today. We'll keep you up to date with them in the half times and the full times. Earlier in the WSL, Arsenal 0, Manchester United 0. Earlier in the FA Cup third round, Cheltenham 0, Leicester 2, Everton 1, Sunderland 1. Sunderland's winning 3-0 on penalties. Wolves smash Shrewsbury 6-1, and the big story of the day, the big story in FA Cup history, Macclesfield 2, Crystal Palace 1, the FA Cup holders beaten by a side from National League North, live on TalkSport.
Nothing beats that just booked feeling, because when you book a Jet2 holiday, you start dreaming of full days and making memories. Get ahead for summer with just a £25 deposit per person for a limited time only. Choose from our best free child place holidays and save up to £400 per family of 4. Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. Package holidays you can trust. App financial protected. £25 deposit available from 19th of December to 12th of January, subject to availability and conditions.
When your deodorant has been reduced to a tiny whisper and tries to tell you,
I'm running on empty. I don't have much left to give.
no need to worry, your new deodorant is already on its way, arriving today with Amazon Prime. Same-day delivery, it's on Prime. Geographic restrictions, cut-off times and T's and C's apply. Details on product page.
Hi babe, what day? Fancy staying in tonight instead? Mackie's calling my name and I saw you can get £5 off if you spend £20 on the app, so you in? Of course you are. Okay, bye.
Exclusively on the McDonald's app. Save £5 when you spend £20 on food and drink via delivery. T's and C's apply. 18 plus. Service and delivery fees apply. Valid once per week, 1st and 31st of January. Participating restaurants, serving times apply.
At Lidl, we value getting you the most out of your money. Like switching from Tesco to Lidl and saving £31 on this week's big shop. See the savings at lidl.co.uk/save and start the new year feeling like a savvy saver. Lidl, more to value. Process check 5th of the 1st, 26. Tesco also sell other products. See online for more details.
It's Trotted Football Man. FA Cup Game Day live on TalkSport.
It's a big FA Cup third round weekend on TalkSport. We've got some great games for you. We already had Macclesfield beating Crystal Palace 2-1 this lunchtime. Last night, Wrexham 3, Forest 3. Wrexham through on penalties. So a couple of Premier League sides have already gone. Everton, Sunderland was on TalkSport 2 earlier. Sunderland through on penalties. Newcastle against Bournemouth live on TalkSport 2 right now. 5:45. Spurs against Villa on TalkSport. And then Charlton, Chelsea at 8. on TalkSport as well. And tomorrow, Derby League to midday, then Portsmouth Arsenal, followed by Man United against Brighton, which is a national radio exclusive on TalkSport and nowhere else. Tomorrow afternoon at 2:30, West Ham against QPR on TalkSport 2. And another one on Monday night, Liverpool take on Barnsley FA Cup. Their ground is live on TalkSport. Round the grounds we go, starting here at the Etihad with Robert Huth and John Dunn.
17 goals, still Manchester City 1, Exeter 0. Max Lane, his first goal for the club, just his second appearance, prodding home via the post after 11 minutes. Exeter did have the first effort of the game. Lynn Oaks, who's 19 today, just his second start. A header that was tipped over the bar by James Trafford. Exeter, mean in defence. Only two teams have conceded less than them in League One this season. Manchester City, though, as we know, love to score goals. They've won the last 15 home FA Cup games as Wareham gets down the right for Exeter. Did see him a moment ago, Robert, and maybe this is where Exeter's trying to ruffle the feathers of Manchester City. Cross put in, Wareham wasn't going to get there, just made sure he left a little bit in on James Trafford.
Just a little bit, yeah. No, that's what you want. It's just like you want them to be committed. But to be fair to Exeter, when they go forward, they commit players forward. They get the ball in the box, and like you said, that was a foul, obviously, but he did get the ball in the back of the net, even though it was given as a foul.
Have you seen enough from Exeter to suggest that they could pose Manchester City problems, or are they doing the right thing at the moment and just defending, soaking up the pressure and waiting for chances maybe later in the game?
Yeah, they're doing fine at the moment, and like I said, when they attack, they commit their players forward. Where makes a good runs behind the back four of City. He just had a semi-half chance, so they're doing okay. They just have to hang in there. If it stays 1-0 for a bit longer, and that would be the best from the manager. Just keep it tight. Still winning the ball right now. Where are they going to get in it? So they're doing fine, absolutely fine.
Where causing a nuisance to the City defenders, very hard working. It is offside. Exeter took Forest to penalties last season in the fourth round with 2-2 at St James's Park. We've had 19 minutes so far here at the Etihad. Manchester City 1, Exeter 1.
The last thing that one about Erling Haaland, he was at 10.5, how you would deal with him. But first of all, about the fact he's got 20 goals is incredible. Okay, so nobody's anywhere near him. But he's also missed the most big chances in the Premier League this season, 20 misses. And he misses a lot of really good chances, as well as scores a lot of really good chances. So I can't really work out, you've got to have him in your Premier League 11 because he scores so many goals, but the fact that he's missed so many chances, like missed chances against Brighton, and they only got 1-0 draw, those chances converted like they should have been, could put City top of the table.
Yeah, I guess that's disappointing a bit so far, but he's, like you said, 21 goals is not bad, is it? But he's still young relatively in terms of his career. And the scary thing is, I know he's a big lad already. Imagine in about 4 years how physically strong he's going to be and how much faster he's going to be. But I guess it's a good thing missing chances. I know it's an easy sort of thing to say when you're sitting up here, but he gets there, and imagine if he scores 50-60 goals in the Premier League. You're right, it's possible for him to do it because he plays in such an amazing team where he gets the chances. It's just he seems to score the difficult ones, and the one against Brighton where the goal opened up for him, he just sort of passes it to the keeper. He's got so much more difficult goals. But hey, we're all human. We might kind of make these kind of we should probably make a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's human, but they should have 30. I mean, 20 isn't bad at all. But very quickly, how would you deal with him as a centre half?
Well, I've seen defenders trying to rough him up, and that's kind of the worst thing you can do. You sort of wake to sleep in bed, really, so I would probably try and butter him up and tell him how well he's doing and how great he looks, how great he smells. That would probably be, you might have to, because I've seen it before, the game's kicked off and you see the big centre half running into the back, and he's actually enjoying it, isn't he? I think Drogba was very similar we really enjoyed the physical element of it. So, yeah, I would probably tell him the opposite of what I just said. So just tell him how well he's doing and maybe just take it a bit easy.
Do some strikers smell nice? Is that right, mid-game?
Oh. Not that good, but no.
I was going to say, Wayne Holmes. You're fucking out of that one. Yeah. It is Man City 1, Exeter 0 here at the Etihad. What's going on at Meadow Park? Ian Abrahams.
Name a couple of strikers smell nice, but I'm not going down that road. Bournemouth 0, Burton 0, 22 on the clock. Charles Either and Lewis Richardson for Bournemouth with an attempted bicycle kick. If it had come off, it would have been brilliant. Shortgate for Burton in on goal. A combination of the goalkeeper and also the captain Callum Reynolds managed to keep him at bay. Bournemouth 0, Burton 0.
To Craven Cottage on TalkSport with FA Cup winner Alvin Martin alongside Stan Allard.
22 gone, still Fulham 0, Middlesbrough 0. The best chance of the game came to Middlesbrough very early on in the first half. Silvera finding space down the right-hand side, played a good ball into the box. Conway timed the run to perfection, couple of yards out, got a shot away, but the Fulham goalkeeper makes a good save with his leg. Since then, maybe in the last 5 or 10 minutes, Fulham just settling down, pinging the ball around nicely now. Adora Traore and Castagna played a nice 1-2 down the right. Joe Nakuti Asari on loan from Bayern Munich. First dart save for Fulham, headed straight at the goalkeeper, Alvin Martin. I'm not going to ask you about the best players, smelling players. Say that for somebody else. What he made it in 23 minutes.
Well, I think it's been a solid start by Middlesbrough, Sam. You know, they've come here with a game plan, they've come to play. Certainly, you know, you look at the way they go into their own penalty area and start their play up from there. You know, both Hackney and Morris, the two centre midfielders, are more than capable of starting off, and they've been a good visit. They haven't really had too much to cheer the Fulham faithful here. And I think the first aim would have been from Middlesbrough to make sure that they look solid, and they've done that, but also having a threat. You know, they've got a threat up front with Whittaker. Up to this point, the final ball has just been a little bit off, but they've shown enough to me to say, yeah, they've come here to really open up, and they've got Whittaker now. We've got a good couple of goals in the last game against Southampton. He's back on form, so they've got an attacking threat. Well, yeah, but certainly absolutely delighted to Middlesbrough Man Hill, you know, with the start they've made.
Yeah, 24 goals, no goals. There's no Marcus Silva, by the way, on the touchline for Fulham today. He's serving the touchline to bench and he's watching from the stand. 24 gone, Fulham 0, Middlesbrough 0.
What a goal here at the Etihad. Robert Hood for Sean Dunn.
Manchester City 2, Exeter 0. Rodri with a perler. Came into Antoine Semenyo, edge of the area, turned and shot. That was what came to Rodri, 25 yards out. The sweetest of strikes. Top left corner, his first of the season, his first since May 24 in a 3-1 win here against West Ham. It gives City a 2-goal advantage, but what a strike.
Absolute bullet, as clear as they can. Bit of a ricochet, dropped nicely to Rodri from, what would you say, 30 yards out. Put his foot through the ball, yeah, keeper no chance there.
Just drops in the bottom right corner, almost nonchalantly the way he does it, but it's so much power behind it despite any kind of battling. Beaming smile on his face, all those injury problems, but what a goal to mark his goal scoring return.
Yeah, it's been a one, hasn't it, like we just said, but yeah, fantastic finish. Just, you know, what can you say, they had so much possession of the ball, and that's not what you want from Exeter. You know, a bit of a ricochet, you don't mind getting that open, but a 30 yards wide isn't exactly good.
Pep Guardiola sat in the stands after picking up a suspension during the week. Flat cap on, no emotion from him. He's the only one that hasn't shown emotion. It was a stunner. 24 goal Manchester City 2, Exeter 0.
Yeah, going to be no Macclesfield type shocks here. Let's go to a goal at Doncaster. Mark Wilson.
Doncaster 0, Southampton 2. Cameron Archer with the finish from the edge of the box. It came after Matty Pearson put a crunching tackling on the forward. Credit to referee said play on Archer was first to react, got under his left foot, had a shot, may have taken a slight deflection because Low Tatala at full stretch just couldn't quite reach it. But it's a lovely finish from Archer, but Doncaster feel 2 goals and there could have been 2 fouls went their way. Referee didn't see it that way. It's Doncaster 0, Southampton 2.
Saints in control. What's going on at Hillsborough? TalkSport Alan Biggs.
Still Sheffield Wednesday 0, Brentford 0, but Brentford are knocking on the door, or to be more precise, they're knocking on the crossbar. They've hit it twice. Reece Nelson, first of all, with a lash of his left foot from the edge of the area, seemed to cannon straight into the crossbar and down, but there is a suggestion that Pierce Charles, very highly rated young goalkeeper of Sheffield Wednesday, just got a crucial touch on that, following which Romel Donovan's cross saw keen Lewis Potter loop a header against the crossbar, and as I speak, Brentford do, from a free kick, squeeze into the lead, and it is Lewis Potter at the far post as the ball comes across who tucks it home, and Brentford's quality and superiority could well show quite a margin from here. They take the lead, having hit the crossbar twice. It is Sheffield Wednesday 0, Brentford 1.
Goals as they go in, and it's a Yorkshireman who's back in his home county with the goal, King Lewis Potter, 1-0 to Brentford. In the National League, York have equalised at Sutton here, and Boateng makes it 1-1. Back to the FA Cup, Turf Moor, TalkSport, Stave Road.
It's Burnley 1, Millwall 0. Ashley Barnes with the goal that has Burnley in front. But Millwall responded well, and they had come mighty close to an equaliser moments ago. Doughty doing well to stay onside down the right-hand side. Turn back onto his left foot. Perfect cross in. Jake Cooper up from the back from a previous set piece with a header, and it forced a brilliant save out of Mark Spice, the German in goal for Burnley this afternoon, just clawing it away to his left-hand side for a corner. We'd also seen Imaku go through for Millwall, but Brian through ball, weak shot that time, easy save by the keeper. Still Barnes goal, Burnley in front, Burnley 1, Millwall 0.
To Portman Road on TalkSport in the FA Cup. Mike Sewell.
Still Ipswich 0, Blackpool 0. Ipswich have gone close twice, both from headers. The first Kipra's tipped over and Akpon's just above the crossbar. But Blackpool have just produced a really good move, a smart move down the left involving CJ Hamilton, who got to the dead ball line, clipped the ball back, and from about 12 yards out, Danny Imre's shot was blocked by Jacob Greaves. It was heading towards goal, but it remains Ipswich 0, Blackpool 0.
Latest at St James Park in the FA Cup. Steve Harmison.
Yeah, Newcastle have had a lot of possession, 70% of possession so far. Bournemouth have been very, very good in defence. Newcastle have moved the ball quickly into wide areas. Slight change of formation for Newcastle. Woltemade and Wissa playing in the same side. You would have thought Wissa would have played on the right, but actually Woltemade's playing as a 10 and Wissa's playing through the middle. The one ball that did get right, Tonali flashed it across the 6-yard box. Unfortunately, there was no one there. Lunal's just come off. Evan Nielsen's just come on. He has a shot straight at Ramsey. This game is live on TalkSport 2. It's Newcastle 0, Bournemouth 0.
Martin O'Neill back for his second caretaker spell at Celtic. And of course, they're 1-0 up against Dundee United. Yang with a goal on 27. He won all his league games in his first caretaker spell earlier this season. If Celtic win, they'll be 3 points behind Hearts. They could, with the right result, go above Rangers into second place today. Celtic, Rangers and Hearts both play tomorrow. Back to the FA Cup. We'll go to Stoke on TalkSport. Jeff Peters.
It's Stoke 0, Coventry 0. Stoke causing the majority of the problems here. That early chance of a million, Manhoef, when he was played through one-on-one, put it wide of the goal. But the goalkeeper for Coventry, Ben Wilson, has been called on. He made a diving stop to push away a long-range effort from the defender, Maxi Calaviero. He hit it really well, the defender, and Wilson was at full stretch from the resulting corner, which Rigo swung in. Ben Wilmot poked it wide. Divine Mabama on loan from Man City has seen a right foot shot blocked from close range. In an attacking sense, it's been all the home side. It's Stoke 0, Coventry 0.
FA Cup third round latest. Then it's Burnley 1, Millwall 0, Southampton 2-0 up at Doncaster. Here at the Etihad, Man City 2, Exeter 0 already. And no further goals in the FA Cup earlier. Cheltenham 0, Leicester 2. Everton were beaten by Sunderland on penalties 3-0. Wolves 6, Shrewsbury 1, and Macclesfield beat Palace 2-1 in one of the biggest shots, if not the biggest shot of all time. Goal at Creighton Cottage in the Cup. Alvin Martin and Sam Allard.
Well, it's been coming. It's Fulham of the Premier League 0, Middlesbrough of the Championship 1. The goal scorer for Middlesbrough is the captain, Hayne Hackney. They play some really, really nice one-touch football inside the box, coming in down the right-hand side. Still there, it gets it. He's been a constant threat all afternoon down that right-hand side. He comes inside the box. He takes it through the legs of Settignon. He goes across the face of goal, and the Middlesbrough number 7, the captain, Hayne Hackney, times his run to perfection, and from a couple of yards out, he could not miss. And Adam Martin, you have to say, it's been coming.
Yeah, it was a phase of the game where they were looking particularly comfortable, and when they were actually getting the ball back in the Fulham half, they were looking more and more intent of cutting through Fulham, and they've done it brilliant. It looks a great team goal. You know, Hackney is a tapping, really. You could have scored that. Severa did absolutely brilliant, nutmegging on the edge of the box, and once he laid the ball in, it just put Fulham on. It's been a very confident start, and they've got a reward for it now as well.
Middlesbrough back by nearly 5,000 fans hoping to win their FA Cup hoodoo in London. 1957, their last win in the capital. They haven't been past this round since 2022. So far, so good. 31 gone. Fulham 0, Middlesbrough 1.
Last up bar 1 of Fulham. Ray Parlour was in the Middlesbrough midfield that long ago, 10 years ago. The last time Middlesbrough won away at Creighton Cottage. Scores elsewhere in League 1. Late night lead the leaders Cardiff by a goal to 0. No goals in League 2. In fact, Bromley are 1-0 up. It's Tranmere in League 2. Crewe 0, Harrogate 0 in the other one. And in the National League, Solihull Moors 1 up at Aldershot. Sutton 1, York City 1, and Woking double their lead against Hartlepool. They by 2 goals 0. FA Trophy, Leatherhead Horsham 1-0. Gloucester City have won up at Marine. And in the Scottish Premiership, Celtic 1, Dundee United 0. The rest of the goals in the Scottish Championship, Airlie Deirdre 1-0. Arbroath 1-0 up at Wraith Rovers. This is Game Day Live, FA Cup third round down on TalkSport.
The FA Cup is where you dare to dream. Now it's time for the heavyweights to join the party. And everyone loves an underdog story. The Emirates FA Cup third round and Adobe Women's FA Cup fourth round live on their new home, TNT Sports.
Stream TNT Sports on Discovery Plus or watch TNT Sports channels on EE, Sky and Virgin Media. Subscription required. 880 plus. TNT Plus.
I've been asked by Shredded Wheat to read out their ingredients list. Drum roll. Whole grain wheat. No, that's it. A single ingredient high fibre cereal. Shredded wheat. It simply does it. I'm telling you, that's it. Applies to shredded wheat, bite size and big biscuit only.
It's time to celebrate. No, not New Year. It's DFS winter sale time. With savings on a huge range of stylish sofas and beds, plus 4 years interest-free credit on everything. Let your bum find its thing in the DFS winter sale. Shake on down to a store near you. DFS, what's your thing? King of Football Commentary. FA Cup Game Day live on TalkSport.
Going to the FA Trophy fourth round, Chatham 1, Carlisle United 0 will be a major shock. Carlisle United, as things stand, top of the National League and big spenders as well. However, Chatham Town are well down the pyramid. They are third in the Isthmian Premier League, but they lead by a goal to nil. Incidentally, the FA Trophy fifth round draw will be live on TalkSport 2 on Monday afternoon, 3:15 p.m. John Howard, Rory Jennings and the former Southend and Carlisle winger Adrian Clark to find out who's got who in the next round. Carlisle trailing at the moment in the FA Trophy fourth round. Celtic go 2-0 up against Dundee United. Arna Ingles with a second on 32. Cardiff equaliser late Norrie and their top scorer Yusuf Salek with the level of 1 apiece in that League One game. But let's focus on the FA Cup and go to the Etihad on TalkSport with Robert Huth and John Dunn.
Manchester City 2, Exeter 0, goals by Max Alain and Rodri, giving City the advantage. They're in full control of this game now, loads of possession, few more chances. 17-year-old Ryan McCado is making his Manchester City debut. Picked up the ball right touchline, 18 yards out, ran across the box, and from the edge of the D, a left-footed strike that was just wide. And a moment ago, Reinders feeding the ball into Haaland, a turn and shot. Joe Whitworth at full stretch to turn that one away. 34 goal, Manchester City 2, Exeter 0.
Let's go to Bournemouth, goal area in Abrams.
Bournemouth 0, Burton Albion 1. It's a good goal as well, scored by Kyron Lofthouse. Ball playing down the right-hand side of the penalty, and it's a thunderous finish past Kurd in the Bournemouth goal in front of the North Bank. The hardcore of Bournemouth fans. They're not used to being behind here to league sides in the FA Cup. They're going to have to win it the hard way, the non-league side, if they are to do it. National League Bournemouth 0, League One Burton Albion 1.
And we've got another goal in the FA Cup. This at Turf Moor, Dave Rowe.
Burnley 2, Millwall 0, somewhat against them on a play, but the Premier League sort of doubled up here. So Loon Chalner, who's got it, his defenders actually going forward to set things up. Stunner down the right-hand side, combining with Epdale, the central defender. Epdale raced into the penalty area, then just dropped it back to the edge from the right-hand side. And on the edge of the box, just inside, Chalner with a fierce, low left-footed shot that beat Bender. It's Burnley 2, Millwall 0.
And FA Cup goal at Portman Road as well, Mike Sewell.
Ipswich Town 1, Blackpool 0. No prizes for who scored, because he scores all his goals here. Jayden Philogene, his 10th of the season, his 10th at Portman Road. But it was all created by work from Jack Clark towards the right-hand side of the field. He worked the ball over to the left-hand edge of the area where it was fed to Philogene, and he's done it so many times. Right-footed, he curled it beyond the left hand of Bailey Peacock Farrell. And Ipswich, the firm favourites to go to round 4 from this tie, lead Blackpool by a goal to 0.
Goal in League One, the Posh League, Bolton 1-0. Jimmy J. Morgan on loan from Chelsea with the goal. Let's finish off what we were saying about the game here at the Etihad. City in control, Robert Huth and John Dunn.
Manchester City 2, Exeter 0. Rodri and Maxwell, the goal scorers. City created chances, loads of possession. We're having an impromptu drink break here, certainly not because of the weather, 3 degrees at the Etihad Stadium, but there's an injury to Exeter goalkeeper Joe Whitworth just a moment after making a full stretch save to deny Erling Haaland. Initially looked like it might be cramped the way he was stretching his leg, but now the physio tended to a knee injury. Has given a chance, Robert, particularly Gary Cole, Exeter manager, has been so animated on the touchline. He was the Wigan captain when the big Man City in the FA Cup finally in 2013. What is the message he's trying to get to his players? He's so animated.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to get them to play out from the back a little bit more, because at the moment they're just trying to chip it into the front lads. It's just not sticking. You can see he's getting really frustrated. But when City press as well as they have done in this first 35 minutes, it is difficult to get out. But I think it just feels like, they can play out a bit better than they have done.
From a Manchester City perspective, this now starts to feel like a training exercise. The way they're moving the ball around, they've slowed the pace down. Do you want to see them get a bit more ruthless, or is that the right thing to do?
Well, that's a difficult situation to be in if you just think it's a training game, because before you know it, Exeter get a chance, it's 2-1, and then it becomes a game. So I think they're experienced enough to not let it happen. I think for them, the most important thing is now to not concede, to stay injury free, and get the game done with.
Joe Whitworth back on his feet. We're back underway. 38 minutes gone. Manchester City 2, Exeter 0.
I've got a flurry of messages from various people telling me who smells nice in football. Dennis Bergkamp smelled very nice. So Les Ferdinand smelled very nice. Daniel Farker, the Leeds manager, very nice smelling man. Yeah, that gets a thumbs up. And Brendan Rodgers is
So
also.
who smells bad? That's what we need next.
Now we're talking.
Now we're talking.
Now you're going to name some names here.
No.
Come on. From your dressing room.
I didn't get close enough to smell anyone.
No, that isn't true. Man City leading by 2-0. Let's head to Craven Cottage. Albi Martin and Sam Ellard.
39 gone, Fulham 0, Middlesbrough 1. Middlesbrough leading thanks to some brilliant one-touch play down the right-hand side that saw Silvera get played in. Took it through the legs of Sessegnon and then played it to Hackney to finish from close range. Since then, it's just been all Middlesbrough. They look so confident in possession. Fulham possession, sitting deep, not looking to press Middlesbrough, and when in possession, Fulham, they look short of ideas here to try and break down this Middlesbrough team. Alvin, you praised Middlesbrough rightly so about how well they played. What about this Fulham team? Sure, they made changes. They've been in good form in the Premier League, a couple of points off top 4, and yet today we see absolutely nothing from them.
Sam, football is the same in every division. Without work rate, there's no agency, and that's exactly what I'm pointing the finger at Fulham on. They've got to work hard. They've got to make it more uncomfortable for Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough is dominating the middle of the box. Traore's on the ball now. This is a decent setup here.
Yeah, Traore comes into the box, down the right-hand side, ball into the box. Ayling does well to head away. Harrison Reed back into the box, but no one's there, and the goalkeeper picks it up.
Yeah, and that's the first time we've seen Traore take somebody on. All his work has been done deep. And certainly, I expected Reed and Lukic to dominate the midfield area. That hasn't happened. And again, they're on the break here, Middlesbrough. They're looking much more likely to add to the 1-goal lead than Fulham are getting level.
Yeah, I think at this point Fulham might take 1-0 at half-time, maybe look to that bench where they've got a lot of good players on the bench, the likes of Sander Berger, Kenny, Raul Jimenez, but it's the Championship side, Adrian, dominating proceedings so far this afternoon at Craven Cottage. 5 to half-time, it's Fulham 0, Middlesbrough 1.
Talksport taking you to Hillsborough, FA Cup third round. Here's Alan Biggs.
Sheffield Wednesday 0, Brentford 1. A rare Sheffield Wednesday attack as I speak. The cross from Bailey Calamatri goes astray. They barely had a glimpse of goal just on one occasion. Charlie McNeil, a fierce strike from the edge of the area, but it was straight at Hakon Valdemarson in the Brentford goal. At the other end, Nelson had a great opportunity to make it 2-0 from Jensen's cross. He hashed his finish. And I think really from Sheffield Wednesday's point of view, with 4 minutes to the break, it's a case of getting to half-time, still in the game, and you never know what might happen if they can do that. It remains Sheffield Wednesday 0, Brentford 1.
Another cup goal, another one at Doncaster, Mark Wilson.
Yeah, it could be all over here. Doncaster 0, Southampton 3. It's match 2 Suzuki with a lovely header 6 yards after. Great work down the right from the wide fella, Tom Fellows, swimming up towards the far post. Matsuki got the highest and headed it in at the far post. Doncaster giving plenty here, but they just haven't any looking for a goal. Southampton dominant in terms of chances taken. Doncaster 0, Southampton 3.
Well, City have got a third. We'll clear up in just a second, but let's go to Bournemouth goal area in our grounds.
Bournemouth 0, Burton Albion 2. The dream fading now for the National League side. A second goal in quick succession. Ball played across. It was a decent cross to the far post. It was Kane Adams put the ball through for the opening goal. Who headed goal was, it might have been bowled in by Julian Larson. We'll clear that one up. But Burton Albion have clear breathing space to themselves at Bournemouth. Bournemouth 0, Burton Albion 2.
Goals as they go in, and City get a third here. Robert Huth and John Dunn.
Manchester City 3, Exeter 0. I think Nathan Ake might try and claim this one. Corner swung in from the right from Cherky. It came off Jack Fitzwater, the Exeter defender, almost on the goal line. I think it might have just clipped Nathan Ake from a couple of inches out and gone over the line. It's cruel for Exeter, Robert, but it just gives Manchester City even more control of this game.
Yeah, absolutely cruise control now, isn't it? I would definitely claim that goal, to be fair, even if it was just a toe poke. But yeah, it was unfortunate. Just a chipped in corner, and the player seemed to miss it all and just sort of dropped to the field.
A very muted celebration from Ake. A couple of minutes of normal time remaining in the first half. Manchester City 3, Exeter 0.
Robert, can I ask you about Antoine Semenyo and that goal? Because the ball comes in and he just targets the keeper. He runs towards the keeper, backs into him so much the keeper's beyond the goal line.
Yeah.
So surely that's got to be a foul, isn't it?
What?
Because he's impeding the goalkeeper.
Yeah, but that's your job, isn't it? You can't just let keepers come for the ball. In fact, any player, you kind of have to get in the way of it all. It's just part of the game. I don't think the ball was in play then, was it?
If you were a defender, would you have been? I think it was. I think the ball would come across. If you were a defender, would you be appealing for that? Or if you were the goalkeeper, would you be appealing for it?
Obviously, the goalkeeper, you'd appeal for sure, but I think it's within the rules of the game. Yeah. Okay. Just as long as you don't grab it, you don't have to sort of, make it more difficult. We've seen keepers come out and taking players out in the past, so why not the other way around?
Okay, Semenyo learning the dark arts already at Manchester City. Perhaps dark arts. Let's go to Turport goal there, Dave Rowe.
Burnley 3, Millwall 0. Probably game over here. Jaden Anthony with the third for the Towers. Big mistake by Stephen Bender in the Millwall goal. His clearance went straight to Oguchukwu in about 50 yards out, but Oguchukwu in lots of space to play it straight out towards the left-hand side. Brent Larson then spotted the ball through to Anthony, and Anthony's left-footed shot across the keeper and in. Burnley in complete control. Burnley 3, Millwall 0.
5-2 up at Hereford in the FA Trophy. That's an all-National League North affair. Forest Green under Robbie Savage lead at Edgeley by a goal to 0 as Exeter go close, flashing a shot wide. Let's go to Portman Road on Talksport. Mike Sewell.
Just over a minute left of normal time. Ipswich 1, Blackpool 0. Top scorer Jaden Philogene with his 10th goal of the season. A typical right-footed shot into the far corner after initial good work by Jack Clark. Blackpool have had one very good chance when Danny Imre's shot from around 12 yards was blocked by Jacob Greaves, but Ipswich have been the more dominant force, certainly since that goal by Philogene, and he's even juggling it on the edge of the Blackpool penalty area in the wake of opening the scoring. But it remains, as we approach half-time, Ipswich 1, Blackpool 0.
Talksport takes you to Newcastle in the FA Cup. Steve Anderson.
Newcastle 0, Bournemouth 0. We're on in the first minute of 2 minutes extra time. Newcastle have been on the front foot. Like I said before, we're intrigued by this change of formation from Eddie Howe, who very rarely goes away from 4-3-3. Played 4-2-3-1. It's not quite good. Walter Martin's been at the game, but Newcastle will be disappointed. They've been in behind 2 or 3 times. We've seen Johan Wissa just literally a minute before the board went up for the injury time have a shot from 6 yards out and he stuffed it just wide. That's probably been the best chance of the first half. Newcastle 0, Bournemouth 0.
To Stoke in the FA Cup on Talksport, Jeff Peters.
Still Stoke 0, Coventry 0. Coventry having their first real opportunity. Yang Min Hyuk on loan from Spurs on his debut, and effort from the edge of the box deflected for a corner. Stoke have had the better opportunities. A free kick from the left-hand side, the latest from Rigo. It's dangerous, it's curling, and Wilson, the goalkeeper, pushed it away. 4 bookings at time. It's just been a little bit testy here towards the end of the first half. It's Stoke 0, Coventry 0.
FA Cup third round then, Burton 2 up at Moorham Woods. Burnley 3, Millwall 0. Southampton lead at Doncaster. Middlesbrough 1 up at Fulham. Ipswich 1, Blackpool 0. Here it's Man City 3, League 1 Exeter 0. And Brentford 1 up at Sheffield Wednesday. Heading up to half-time on TalkSport.
Let's stop that. Being a soldier, it's exciting. You already know that. What you want to know is, what's in it for me? I wanted to learn leadership skills from the experts.
I wanted to get paid to earn qualifications.
I wanted more confidence. And now look, I'm on the radio. That's what was in it for me.
Get skills, get qualified, get confident. Army, recruiting now, search Army jobs.
I see you lurking down there. I know why you're here. My mum said you come, eventually, that you pick on either my dad or my uncle. That's what you do to older guys, right? Then with black men, you target them twice as much. Well, it's not right and it's not fair, and we're not going to let you get away with that. Not for one more second.
Prostate cancer is the most common cancer in men. It's about time we stood together against it. Prostate Cancer UK.
Turn ordinary into the extraordinary every day with the Lexus LBX. Whilst most SUVs are big and brash, the LBX is quietly bold and confident. Refined luxury crafted into a compact SUV. The Lexus LBX. What cars best small SUV 2024 and 2025?
Kingdom Football Commentary. FA Cup Game Day live on TalkSport.
Goals right on half-time. Arbroath 2 up at Raith Rovers in the Scottish Championship, and in the Scottish Premiership, Livingston haven't won a game since August. They're 1-0 up against the side just above them in the bottom two places at Kilmarnock. And it's half-time, and there was a late goal in the first half here at the Etihad. Manchester City in complete FA Cup control. Robert Huth and John Dunn.
Manchester City 4, Exeter 0 at the break. The goal right on half-time is an own goal by Jack Doyle Harris, the Exeter captain. It was Turkey feeding it to Reinders on the byline. Some of the ball may have actually been over the line, but he's pulled it back. Doyle Harris facing his own goal has put it beyond his good for goalkeeper. Exeter actually started brightly first effort of the game. Lynn Oakes, who's 19 today, had a header that was tipped over the bar by James Trafford in the Manchester City goal. But then City took control. Max Lane scored his first goal for the club in his second appearance, prodding home from close range in off the post. Rodri with an absolute curler on 23. 30 yards out. The third came from Nathan Ake after Jack Fitzwater almost on the goal line, heading it down and off the defender. The fourth just before the break. Exeter did have a chance just before that City ball. Think of Briley with a brilliantly threaded ball through to Niskasen, who got down the right, but it was a shot that flashed across the face of goal. The game is going to script.
Yeah, but so, yeah, no, it looks like it's going to be down at the mid-stage in Exeter, isn't it? Not sure what the team is going to be like if you're an Exeter manager or if you're Galway. Not a lot of positives to take away. It's a quite a difficult place to come here when City aren't top as they have been. You just hope that Pep will make a couple of substitutions to take the softer talent off the pitch, but with Man City, you know for sure there'll be a couple of young guns keen to come on and show their worth. So it's going to be another tough 45 minutes for them.
So bright moments as well from debutant Antoine Semenyo. Half-time at the Etihad, Manchester City 4, Exeter 0.
I'm going to give you two a job at half-time to go away and try and clear up whether there was 1, 2, possibly even 3 own goals in that, because some sources are saying there were 2 own goals, some saying there was 1 own goal from Jack Fitzwater, that one at the end. But let's clear that up in time for the second half. What we know is Manchester City are heading through the fourth round already, 4-0 up on League 1 Exeter. Half-time at Meadow Park in the FA Cup third round. Ian O'Brien's.
National League 4 and Wood 0, League 1 Burton Albion 2. The opening goal was set up by Kane Adam, a nice through ball for Kieran Losthouse, right hand side of the penalty area, to fire across the goalkeeper and into the corner for his second ever Burton goal. And that was followed very swiftly by a second Jack Armour's cross from the left-hand side. It was headed back by Adam across goal. It might well have been going in anyway because Larson was hovering around close to the goal, but in the end it seemed to have gone off the Bournemouth midfielder Charlie O'Connell. It's an own goal from him. Bournemouth have offered a fair bit going forward, but they'll need to do what they did last year in the second round against Lake Norwich, and they trailed 2-0 at the break. and scored twice quickly in the second half. Otherwise, their cup dream is over. Bournemouth 0, Burton Albion 2.
Half-time in the third round at Craven Cottage as well. Albion Martin and Sam Allard.
Fulham 0, Middlesbrough 1. Borough deservedly going to half-time ahead. They lead through the captain, Hayden Hackney, who's had a really good first half. Some brilliant one-touch play down the right. Saw Silvera go through. He took it through the legs of Sessignon. Squared for Hackney to finish from close range. Borough really should have been ahead before then. Hackney and Conway both missed good chances from close range. Fulham were really poor, surprisingly poor, given how good a form they come into this game in. But their best chance came right before half-time. A corner comes in, outswinging from Harrison Reed. Quentin unmarked to right for Giudietto. Beat the goalkeeper, but Ailing did really well to clear off the line. Superb defending. Alvin, how did you see that first half?
Well, I just think that Fulham really haven't started the game. They haven't come up with the right attitude. Middlesbrough come with a game plan. They've played some really neat and tidy football with a cutting edge to it as well, and fully deserved to be 1-0 up. I think there's a lot of talking that has to be going on in that Fulham dressing room, and I think there are a few fingers pointed, because you look at Reed and Lukic and Smith Rowe, that's a quality three in there, and they've been totally outplayed, outmanoeuvred in the middle of the park, and it's been far too easy. Kevin on the left-hand side, Traore on the right-hand side. I think he's got to the byline once, Traore. You expect a lot more. He's one-on-one with target, and I've seen him scare defenders. He hasn't done that in the first half, and they have to start making it more uncomfortable for Middlesbrough. But I think Middlesbrough will be absolutely delighted. Obviously, a lot more to do in the game, but if the improvement isn't made in the second half by Fulham, you expect Middlesbrough to nick another goal, Sam.
Yeah, for sure. Fulham have to improve in the second half. Half-time, Fulham 0, Middlesbrough 1.
Half-time at Turf Moor in the FA Cup third round as well. Here's TalkSport's Dave Rowe.
Burnley 3, Millwall 0. Burnley all set for a first win since the end of October, and their front players have been lively throughout. Ashley Barnes put them ahead after a good move down the left in with Jane Anthony and Bryn Larson. A big turning point at 1-0. Millwall had a good spell, so nearly equalised with a header from Jake Cooper for a doughty crossing ball to Fabio Slade from Weiss in the Clarets goal, and they then added 2 more goals themselves of their own. First Exeter went into the area from the right and then laid off for Luke Chelner to drew a shot home, and then a ball clearance from keeper Fender went straight to Ugo Chukwu, who combined with Bryn Larson to tee up Anthony to fire in the third and surely confirm the home side progression. At the break, Burnley 3, Millwall 0.
Let's get half-time at Doncaster as well. TalkSport's Mark Wilson.
Doncaster 0, Southampton 3. Southampton were pumped last week up at Middlesbrough. They responded really well. Tottenham Hotspur had 7 changes. Their attitude here has been bang on. It was shot for the first goal. Flynn Downs challenge on Bailey, won the ball fairly, fed it to Bragg. Matsuki's shot well saved. There was Bragg. Taps in his first senior goal for Southampton 1-0. Archer made it 2 shortly after another crunching tackle, this time from Pearson. Archer rode it, bounced back up and fired a shot in past to Toller to make it 2-0. And then just before the break, Kiryu Matsuki headed in after a lovely fellows cross. At the other end, just one good chance. It came from a free kick for Jordan Gibson. He free kick 25 yards out. Daniel Perez on debut made a lovely save down low to his left-hand side. Southampton's attitude bang on. Looks like they're going through to round 4. Doncaster 0, Southampton 3.
Half-time at Portman Road. Here's TalkSport's Mike Sewell.
Ipswich 1, Blackpool 0. The favourites in front thanks to yet another Portman Road goal by Jayden Philogene. After only 4 minutes, Cedric Kipre tested the reflexes of Blackpool goalkeeper Bailey Peacock. Farrell with a powerful header. Chuba Akpom also went close later in the half from another header. But Blackpool's approach play has at times been a concern for Ipswich, who needed Jacob Greaves to throw his body in front of George Honeyman, who almost converted a really well-worked move down the left. But after asserting themselves more as the half progressed, Ipswich struck. Jack Clark put down the foundations when carrying the ball into the middle of the park before it eventually found its way to Philogene, who from inside the left edge of the area swept it in from 15 yards for his 10th goal here this season. Ipswich 1, Blackpool 0.
Half-time and Newcastle. Here's TalkSport's Steve Harmison.
It's Newcastle 0, Bournemouth 0. The manager's made 13 changes between them, and it showed, really. Easy pace start with Newcastle. Probably the most disappointed with their final ball. Countless times in behind, but poor balls into the box has really been disappointing for the Geordies. Bournemouth, well, they've been strong defensively and lively on the break. As chances go, there's not been too many. Wissa had one in the early stages, a good save from Petrovic to his left. And then probably the best chance for Wissa at the end, right on sort of half-time. He's in the middle of the goal, 6 yards out, and he scuffed his shot just wide. Bournemouth's best chance was Alex Scott. He fished one just over Ramsdale's bar. But as it is, with Newcastle having 65% possession, they've looked good in a new formation. They'll be disappointed not to make it count. So far, so good for Bournemouth. Newcastle 0, Bournemouth 0 live on TalkSport 2.
And what's happened in the first half at Stoke, Jeff Peters?
It's Stoke 0, Coventry 0. Stoke should be ahead. So many chances, 2 huge ones early on for Emilian Manhoef. He was through just to keep it a beat, but poked it wide. And just before the whistle, Divine Mabama somehow missed the target from 3 yards. He got a hat-trick against Bristol City 2 months ago, but none in 11 since then for the on-loan Man City striker. 8 changes for Coventry, and perhaps understandably the Championship leaders haven't looked at their best. Yang Ning Hyuk on debut on loan from Spurs with an effort which deflected for a corner. Little else from them going forward. Stoke 0, Coventry 0.
This is game day.
Half-time classifieds.
In the FA Cup third round, results from earlier: Cheltenham 0, Leicester City 2, Everton 1, Sunderland 1. Sunderland win 3-0 on penalties. Macclesfield 2, Crystal Palace 1 was live on TalkSport, and Wolves 6, Shrewsbury 1. Half times now: Bournemouth 0, Burton Albion 2, Burnley 3, Millwall 0. It's Doncaster 0, Southampton 3, Fulham 0, Middlesbrough 1, Ipswich 1, Blackpool 0, Manchester City 4, Exeter 0, Newcastle 0, Bournemouth 0 is live on TalkSport 2. Salford Swindon was postponed. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Brentford 1, Stoke 0, Coventry 0. Bristol City against Watford, Cambridge against Birmingham, Grimsby against Western Supermare, all 5:45 kickoffs, as is Spurs against Aston Villa, which is live on TalkSport, and Charlton Chelsea is at 8 live on TalkSport. League One, a couple of full times from lunchtime: Luton 2, Stevenage 1, Stockport 1, Huddersfield 0, Bradford Rotherham was postponed, Leyton Orient 1, Cardiff 1, Peterborough 1, Bolton 0. League 2, Accrington against Barnet was postponed, Crewe 0, Harrogate 0, Tranmere 0, Bromley 1. In the National League, Aldershot 0, Solihull Moors 4, Sutton United 1, York City 1, Woking 2, Hartlepool 0. Braintree against Boston is at 7:30. It's at 5:30. FA Trophy fourth round, Bath City against Southend United was postponed. Chatham 1, Carlisle United 0. Eastleigh against Southport was postponed. Ebbsfleet 0, Forest Green 1. Halifax against Anstey Nomads postponed. Hereford 0, AFC Farm 2. Hornchurch against Telford and Kidderminster against Morecambe both called off. Leatherhead 2, Horsham 0. Marine 0, Gloucester City 1. Scunthorpe against Clitheroe and Tamworth against Rochdale both postponed. Walton and Hersham 0, Brackley Town 0. Wealdstone 0, Dagenham and Redbridge 0. And Yeovil 0, Alvechurch 0. In the WSL result: Arsenal 0, Manchester United 0. Scottish Premiership half-time: Celtic 2, Dundee United 0. Hibs 0, Motherwell 0. Livingston 1, Kilmarnock 0. St Mirren 0, Falkirk 0. In the Scottish Championship: Ayr United 1, Airdrie 1. Morton against Berlin and Queen's Park against the leaders St Johnstone postponed. Raith Rovers 0, Arbroath 2. Scottish League 1, Alloa Montrose was postponed. Cove Rangers 0, Inverness County Thistle 0. Peterhead against Hamilton postponed. Queen of the South 0, Kelty Hearts 1. Stenhouse 2, East 5 0. In Scottish League 2, Annan Athletic against Elgin, Dumbarton against Clyde, and East Kilbride against the Spartans, all postponed. Elsewhere: Edinburgh City 1, Stirling 0, Forfar 1, Stranraer 1.
On day 3 of leftovers for lunch, have a day off. Switch it up with a double cheeseburger for $2.49 on the McDonald's Saver menu.
Leftovers left the chat.
Talk about saver satisfaction. Served from 11 a.m. Price and participation may vary. Visa apply to delivery orders, subject to availability.
Team, kick off at 3, yeah? On my way. I've just picked up my new Nissan Townstar. It's packed with safety features, goalkeeper vibes.
Showing off flames, are we? My Nissan Primastar's got 8.6 cubic metres of space, so loading up the footy gear now.
Thought this was a football chat. Try that all-new Nissan Interstar. Comes as a diesel or 100% electric with up to 285-mile range, like me up front. See you there.
Get ready to win with the Nissan Van range, all backed by a 5-year warranty and roadside assistance. Search Nissan Vans and visit your local Nissan Van centre today.
Warranty terms apply. 5 years or 100,000 miles, whichever comes first. EV range figures are for comparability purposes and may not reflect real driving results. Visit nissan.co.uk.
It's the last chance to get yourself a ticket for tonight's Lotto draw.
It could be you.
Lotto from the National Lottery. Rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or over.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be inside a bowl of Heinz soup, floating on a blanket of thick tomatoey goodness, the aromas tickling your nostrils, a crispy little human crouton drifting off, getting Game Day live on Talk Sport.
We are halfway through the 3 o'clock kickoffs on Saturday afternoon. FA Cup third round days. Exeter's players made their way out onto the Etihad surface. This is going to be some turnaround from them if they're to make progress. They are 4-0 down here at Manchester City, and we had drama and some drama. What drama earlier on Talk Sport?
Macclesfield have knocked the holders out.
Our under-21s would have done better than we have done today, and therefore things have to be changed.
I thought every one of them, none of them shied away from it, and they all wanted the ball, they all wanted to get on the ball. He didn't let the occasion get to them, I didn't think anyway. And as you can see in the performance, I thought they were outstanding, and I couldn't be any prouder of them.
It's 09. Can he score 3 out of 3? And Sunderland are in the act for the 4th round of the FA Cup. The final score on penalties, Everton none, Sunderland 3.
We've not at the levels we have been. We've been at much higher levels, playing much better levels of confidence at different times than we've got at the moment. And that's why today we've done a great job with what we had available to get us back into the game and take it to penalties. But it felt like a damn squid when the penalties came around.
No upset here at Molineux. Wolves 6, Shrewsbury 1, and it's Jørgen Strand-Larsen who's done a lot of the damage for the Premier League side this afternoon.
We were clinical when we needed to be. I thought we left 1 or 2 out there. An amazing save, maybe one or 2 other big chances, but I thought we were clinical. I thought we had a good mix, and what we asked for today was patience, but then a purpose with our play.
Wow, what scorelines earlier. Wolves 6-1 winners over Shrewsbury. Jørgen Strand-Larsen with a hat-trick. Everton beaten 3-0 on penalties after a 1-0 draw. Sunderland go through that one. Leicester through, having won 2-0 at Cheltenham, and the big one, Macclesfield 2. Crystal Palace 1. I can confidently predict Man City will be heading through. They still haven't come out. They're making extra weights. Man City are 4-0 up. Southampton 3-0 up. Burnley 3-0 up as well. So all of those will be confident they're going through. What about the game later? Spurs against Aston Villa, all Premier League. We've got live commentary on TalkSport. Joe Shannon is in place at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for us. Could this be Thomas Frank's last game, Joe?
Oh, it's interesting, isn't it, Adrian? I think a lot of jeopardy in this game for Tottenham and Thomas Frank today. You look at the games that they've got coming up. 3 home games in a row, if you include today. West Ham in the Premier League to come. Dortmund in the Champions League to come. It's been a bleak winter so far for Thomas Frank and Tottenham Hotspur. A lot of pressure on him, especially after all of the tensions of the middle of the week. That picture of him drinking from a coffee cup with an Arsenal logo on it, completely accidental, I am sure, but nonetheless, it's the worst possible look at the worst possible time for him. And as I say, I look at these 3 home games coming, and you feel like he's got to win at least 2 of them if he's to have a chance of keeping his job. And this might be the most important of all 3, because it's the one realistic chance that Spurs have got of winning a trophy this season.
Over the years, you and I have had many conversations about Thomas Frank, and there's no doubting the good work he did at Brentford. So, listen, he's a good manager. So what is going wrong at Tottenham? Is it about him? Is it about the players? Is it about how the club is run above Thomas Frank? Is it about the fans? What's it about?
Well, there's been a lot of change, obviously, at Tottenham over the last few months. Daniel Levy leaving the club in September after nearly 25 years. And whatever you thought of Daniel Levy, if you were a Tottenham fan, you'd accept that there'd be quite a lot of shuffling at boardroom level after his departure. Then on the field, you're looking at the way that Tottenham have played, particularly at home. I mean, their home record has been absolutely dreadful in the Premier League so far this season. They haven't won a home game in any competition since the 9th of December, so it's a month without a home win here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We know how poor their record was on this ground in 2025, and I think it's the attacking statistics and the lack of attacking football that Tottenham became known for over so many years, particularly in their heyday under Bill Nicholson, etc. But under Thomas Frank, nowhere near it really. And actually, when you look at the Premier League table at the moment, they're a place lower than at this stage last season under Ange Postecoglou. So a lot of Tottenham fans are going to be looking at the situation and saying, we've actually not taken any steps forward. If anything, we've taken a step back. So while I've got a lot of sympathy for Thomas Frank, and there are some mitigating factors, maybe you look at the absence of Madison and Kulusevski, there is no question he is under a lot of pressure, and the level of scrutiny at Tottenham is completely different to that he faced at Brentford.
Joe, thanks very much. We'll look forward to it. We'll get team news from you 5:45 kickoff is live on TalkSport later. Goal in the FA Cup third round, another one at Doncaster. Mark Wilson.
Yeah, it could be game on here. Doncaster 1, Southampton 3. Came after Molyneux's cross was put behind for a corner. Gotts whipped in a great ball into the 6-yard box. There must have been 15 players in there, and it was Matty Pearson who got the touch on the line to turn it in. So Doncaster not done just yet. Doncaster 1, Southampton 3.
Only just got underway in the second half here at the Etihad. Man City 4-0 up. So let's go to Boreham Wood. Early stages, second half there at TalkSport TNA grounds.
Still Bournemouth 0, but now being 2 as it was at half-time. And what an exciting Kean Adam has been. Only joined yesterday from Gateshead. Set up the first opportunity for Bournemouth, but it's scuffed well over by Lewis Richardson. Set up the first goal and was involved in the second with a header. One chance for Bournemouth in the second half, apart from that Richardson shot that just went over the top. Cameron Cox down the right-hand side, cutting on his left foot. Clearly his left foot is not his best. His effort went high wide and wasn't very handsome. Bournemouth 0, but now being 2.
Deadlock broken out Newcastle, Steve Harmison.
Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 0. It's Harvey Barnes, it's that man again. Great work between him and Nick Voldemar, who slipped him in down the left-hand side. He got to cross the fullback and slots it home into the Gallagher end. It's Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 0, live on TalkSport 2.
Steve, thanks very much. If you want to get TalkSport 2, just download the TalkSport app. You can get TalkSport 2. You get the news stations, Times Radio, Talk Radio on there as well, and the music stations offered by Virgin, including my favourite Virgin 80s. I'm stuck in the 80s. Goal in the National League. York City 2-1 up at Sutton United. They've turned it around, and of course, it's Ollie Pearce. 8 in 5 for him. He's got 54 in 74 for York City. Over 200 goals in 7.5 seasons in non-league football for Ollie Pearce. He is a pocket dynamo, incredible. Let's go to Craven Cottage, FA Cup third round, Alvin Martin and Sam Allard.
Fulham 0, Middlesbrough 1, Middlesbrough lead thanks to a first half goal from Hayden Hackney. Fulham were really poor in the first half. 6 or 7 minutes into the second half, they started well. Fulham just moving the ball with a little bit more pace, trying to make something happen. Not a short while ago, Morgan Wicketer was really dangerous in the first half of Middlesbrough. Had a really good chance for the away side to put them 2-0 up. He got played down the right-hand side. He made room for himself going on the outside. 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. And I just think he was caught in 2 minds, whether to shoot or try and pull the ball back across the face to goal. In the end, I think he did neither. Maybe somewhere in the middle, and it went out for a goal kick. But Alvin, another big chance for Borough.
Yeah, it was, and he certainly got the ability to go past people, hasn't he? But he got himself in a really good shoot position. To be fair, I think that the Fulham goalkeeper and centre half just put him under a little bit of pressure, Sam, made him rush a little bit there. But look, it's another warning shot across the bows, isn't it? They've come out and tried to dominate the game, Fulham. But certainly when they turn the ball over, they've got to worry about Middlesbrough as well. But there's a lot of work to be done here. I think the work rate has improved. I mentioned that in the first half, and Silverman maybe has got amongst his players at half time. But certainly around the edge of the box, Smith Rosen, I haven't seen anything of him. Sorry, up front, I have no service whatsoever. Kevin has shown a little flash here and there. Chiori, one moment in the first half. That ain't good enough as a forward line.
Middlesbrough going well in the Championship, and they're going well this afternoon in the FA Cup. Fulham 0, Middlesbrough 1.
Another goal for City here at the Etihad. Here's Robert Huth and John Dunn.
Within 5 minutes of the second half, it's Manchester City 5, Exeter 0, and Rico Lewis is the goal scorer. Not scored since an FA Cup tie in April against Nottingham Forest. He's turned one home here. It was a 1-2 between Semenyo and Reinders. Semenyo's cross 12 yards out from the left as is it Briley who's just fired one into the side, netted over on the far side for Exeter. It was Semenyo's cross and Rico Lewis sliding in, dare I say, like Erling Haaland would have done, sliding in a few yards out. City did make 3 changes at the break with Nico O'Reilly, Divine Makassa and a debut for Stephen Fooney coming on, replacing Ake, Haaland and Rodri. But in terms of the goal, Robert, another blow for Exeter. First assist for Semenyo and Rico Lewis, a rare goal scorer.
Yeah, really well-worked goal for Man City. And like I said, first assist for Semenyo, that would do him a world of good, get his confidence up. And yeah, not quite off the mark in terms of goals, but certainly in terms of getting assists, which is, in his position equally as important.
Exeter have brought on Josh McGuinness at half-time as well, but they're looking a bit shell-shocked now and somehow try and keep the score down.
Yeah, it's going to be a long 40-odd minutes now, isn't it? But, it's still a great experience for these players to play against the likes of City. So make the most of it, get as much learning out of this game as you can. It's going to be a long second half.
51 minutes gone at the Etihad. Manchester City 5, Exeter 0.
And I see Robert Erling Haaland dragged off because he didn't first half. He's rubbish, and
yeah, he's poor. No, clearly, City's got a busy schedule coming up, so it's purely saving the legs for the next couple of games.
Yeah, I was surprised that he started. Actually, what do you, if you're saying that they enjoy the occasion, and maybe in the future Exeter players can look back on it, but they don't want this to run riot, do they? 7 or 8 or even double figures.
No, but I've been on the pitch like that where the game goes away from you, and you kind of have to look into yourself and kind of get out what you can, especially there's a couple of young players on the pitch for Exeter. So, yes, it could be really a high score, but from an individual point of view, you learn something, even in a heavy defeat. It doesn't sound great right now because you're losing, but when you come home and you sort of digest, there's something definitely you can learn from that. Easy said from up here.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's not the setbacks, it's how you recover.
Exactly.
But yeah, they're not listening to that right now.
Absolutely not.
They're just desperate for no more goals.
Yeah, they take a 5-0 now, don't they?
I think so. I think that if I was one of their 8,000 plus fans that's travelled here, and it's a long, long way from Devon up here to Manchester, yeah, I'd want a goal to celebrate, just that one moment. So if Exeter score and lose 5-1 from this position,
yeah,
that's as perfect as you can get.
They did have an opportunity just after the 5th goal to get a goal, but
it's the other side netting, didn't it?
Yeah, that's the one. So, you never know.
We shall see. Yeah, I can tell you Exeter are not going to be going through though. They are 5-0 down here at Man City early. Second half, Ray Rovers ball, one back home to Arbroath, but they trail by 2 goals to 1. FA Trophy, 4th round, Hereford ball, one back, but they trail 2-1 at home to AFC File. Back to the FA Cup. 3rd round to Hillsborough on Talksport, Alan Biggs.
Sheffield Wednesday 0, Brentford 1. It's going the way you would expect, except that Brentford really should be out of sight there, toying with Sheffield Wednesday, monopolising possession, having all the chances. They've missed some glorious ones right at the end of the first half. Matthias Jensen played clear as I speak. Pierce Charles makes his 3rd save of the second half in the Sheffield Wednesday goal. Jensen blazed over for that opportunity. Ronald Donovan's had an opportunity in this half, and Keane Lewis Potter, the scorer of the goal, was denied with an angled chip, tipped over by Charles, who's standing between Brentford and a landslide victory here. Whatever, it's still only 1 goal. You just never know. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Brentford 1.
We've had another goal for Man City, but this is a big goal. Robert Huth and John Dunn.
Manchester City 6, Exeter 0. The first goal in sky blue for Antoine Semenyo, and it was a brilliant finish, but before that a Cruyff turn and a pinpoint pass from Ryan Cherky that released Semenyo left hand side, raced into the penalty area. A cool and composed finish, signed off at Bournemouth with the winner in last minute against Spurs, signed on for Manchester City with a goal just after half time. He's played really well, Robert, but that goal, he'll be enjoying that one.
Yeah, when you get signed for such a big fee, that's what you want. You want to get off the mark. That's exactly what he's done today. Great turn by Zerkin on a halfway and going through ball, and he really shot great pace, getting beyond the fullback and coming in from the left hand side.
I know it's only Exeter, it's the FA Cup, but he has just seamlessly dropped into this side. He hasn't looked out of place. I don't think we would assume this was his debut today. He slotted in really well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what a side to start with, isn't it? So it's no, I mean, what I'm really impressed with is his work rate. We can obviously just see his goal and his touches and his skill, but he does work both ways, which is exactly what Pep wants from his players, to be active on the pitch.
10 minutes gone in the second half. Manchester City 6, Exeter 0.
Yeah, that's why he signed him. I think it's a really interesting signing for so many reasons, Semenyo, because he does all that work. There's a lot of end product, whether he's assisting or scoring, Robert. But actually, I think it's also a big message to the wingers he has here, Pep Guardiola, because Savinho hasn't scored this season. Doku's only got 1 this season. They've got to up their game.
Yeah, 100%. And he's lucky to be able to get players in others. But like you said, Doku, obviously, for all the excitement he brings to the team, to the crowd, his end product, but certainly his goal scoring is probably not as good as it should be. And it doesn't. If you're him and watching so many play today, you probably be like, right, if we're training tomorrow, I'm going to be extra early tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. He's earning a place in the side, shall we say. Man City 6-0 up. Semenyo has scored on his debut. Let's get a goal in the FA Cup. Another one at Doncaster. Mark Wilson.
It is game on now. Doncaster 2, Southampton 3. It's Jordan Gibson who's lashed in on the half volley from 15 yards out. And it is all Doncaster deserved. They got the goal back through Pearson 3 minutes into the second half. Southampton have not been out there on half. They are getting battered here. Whatever Grant McKenna put in the half-time cup of tea at Doncaster, it's working dividends. Doncaster 2, Southampton 3.
Now, goals as they go in. I thought that one was all over. Clearly not. In the Scottish Premiership, Falkirk leader Samira 1-0. Finn Yates has got the goal in League One. Posh 2. Bolton 0. Bolton in a playoff place at the start of the day. Matthew Garber, the New Zealand international, could be in the World Cup next summer, has got the second for Peterborough. Motherwell lead Hibs 1-0 to under Maswanisa, the former Leicester youngster. Motherwell's top scorer, one of the top scorers in the Scottish Premiership, actually, has got the goal. Hibs 0, Motherwell 1. And in the FA Trophy, fourth round, Horsham pulled one back at Leatherhead, but they trailed by 2 goals to 1. We'll go to Turf Moor on TalkSport. Here's Dave Rowe.
Burnley 3, Millwall 0. Every indication that Burnley will be looking to extend their lead in the second half. They were 3 up at the break and they've gone mighty close to a fourth with a screaming shot from outside the area by Chalner, who scored the second goal. Bren Larson really run the show. He got past 2 or 3 challenges, played in Chalner, who cut in, unleashed a searing left-footed drive that crashed back off the outside of the post and away to safety as far as Millwall were concerned. Alex Neil has made big changes here. He's got a promotion race to think about in the Championship, not the biggest of squads, and you can certainly tell really as the second half kind of drifts along for them and they're starting to make changes as well. There's not too much joy for them here so far. Burnley 3, Millwall 0.
Goal in the FA Cup at Craven Cottage. Alvin Martin and Sam Ellard.
Fulham 1, Middlesbrough 1. Harry Wilson comes off the bench. Well, you know the rest. Harry Wilson obviously scored. They only took him a couple of minutes and he puts Fulham back on level terms. And this is another excellent strike from one of the most informed players in the Premier League in England at the moment. He has the ball on the right-hand side, edge of the box. He cuts in on that left foot and he just bends it into the far corner and beats the goalkeeper. Alvin Martin. Fulham, for the best part of an hour, had just been crying out for some quality like that.
Well, as soon as he came on, Michael Silver had seen it off. As soon as he came on, they lifted the ground and he hasn't really had that many touches, but this one, when it lands to him on his left foot, Target is facing up, Gilbert's facing up. They give him half a yard. You can't do that with Wilson, not at this moment in time. And he measured it, we were right behind it, measured it with the left foot, no chance for the keeper. A great finish.
He was one of 3 changes for Fulham. Wilson, Jimenez and Kenny coming on. Wilson with the goal. Well and truly game on at Craven Cottage. We've been playing for 61 minutes. Fulham 1, Middlesbrough 1.
The goals as they go in on TalkSport. Fulham and Middlesbrough all square, elsewhere. A couple of goals in League 2. Crew lead at bottom of the table. Harrogate 1-0. Youngster Callum Gears with the goal. And Bromley double their lead at Tranmere 2-0. Michael Cheek gets his second of the afternoon. What are we off to next in the FA Cup? Third rounds on TalkSport. We'll go to Portman Road. Here's Mike Stewart.
And how played, Ipswich 1, Blackpool 0. Jaden Philogene goal after 35 minutes divides the 2 teams, but it's been all Ipswich pretty much in this second half as Johnson sends it across towards the penalty spot. Taylor's trying to get his shot in. Eventually it's cleared away by Blackpool, who actually had a shot completely out of the blue. After 51 minutes, a long ball into the Ipswich half, bounced into the path of CJ Hamilton. His left foot shot was saved by the legs of Alex Palmer. It's a slender advantage, but Ipswich are in control. Ipswich 1, Blackpool 0.
Goal in the cup tie, Newcastle, Steve Armisen.
It's Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 1. It's Alex Scott, which time just stood still at St James's Park. Evan Nielsen's in the corner of the box. He slipped it wide, it came back to him, he crosses the ball, and Alex Scott standing at the back post. I think Newcastle were waiting for an offside flag. He just tapped it into an empty net. Game on. Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 1, live on TalkSport 2.
And what's the very latest at Stoke? Here's Jeff Peters.
It's Stoke 0, Coventry 0, and probably for the first 10 minutes of the second half, Coventry with about 80% possession. They were dictating play without actually creating any shots. They still haven't had a shot on target in this entire game, but attacking the goal behind which are almost 5,000 of their supporters. There's almost, well, there's more than a third of the stadium here is dominated by the Coventry fans, but Stoke in the last couple of minutes have just come alive. The Slovakian international Tomáš Rigo has been excellent all game. An angled drive, Wilson pushed it wide, and then Rigo with a cross from the right. Ben Wilmot directing his header just wide of the goal. Could go either way. Stoke 0, Coventry 0.
Let's give the FA Cup third round latest then from the 3 o'clock games. Burton 2 up at Bournemouth. Burnley 3, Millwall 0. Doncaster 2, Southampton 3. Donny were 3 there at half time. Fulham 1, Middlesbrough 1. Ipswich 1, Blackpool 0. Here, Man City a 6-0. Let's go to Hillsborough. Is that a penalty there, Alan Beeks?
Yes, a penalty to Brentford. It's Sheffield Wednesday 0, Brentford 1. I think you can double that in a moment or two. But Tyus Jensen has the ball on the spot. Here he comes, right-footed, rifles it into the roof of the net, which ripples away. This was after Ramel Donovan was tripped on the side of the penalty area. It was a needless foul, needless tackle, but Sheffield Wednesday being put out of their misery here at Hillsborough. It could be, well, 4 or 5, it's only 2, but Brentford are going to go through. Sheffield Wednesday 0, and by the way, as well, Pierce Charles, their highly rated goalkeeper, a few minutes before that penalty, was forced off. He took a bang after the latest of several good saves. He's gone off to be substituted. Logan Stretch, the sub-keeper, has pulled it out of the net. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Brentford 2.
Goal at Turf Moor in the Cup, Dave Rowe.
Burnley 4, Millwall 0, certainly all over now. Ashley Barnes, second goal of the game. This is poor from Millwall defensively because Bryn Larson playing it forward to Anthony, who was yards onside with Millwall trying to play him off. He got it across the right-hand side. The ball took one deflection, one ricochet, and then Barnes kind of stumbled and fumbled it home just past the keeper, Bender, and Burnley is certainly going through. Burnley 4, Millwall 0.
Elsewhere, it's Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 1 live on TalkSport 2 right now, and Stoke 0. Coventry 0, that's all the 3 o'clock games earlier. Cheltenham 0, Leicester 2. Everton 1, Sunderland 1. Sunderland won it 3-0 on penalties. And Wolves beat Shrewsbury 6-1. What about this? Macclesfield, halfway down National League North, beat Crystal Palace, the FA Cup holders from the Premier League, by 2 goals to 1. It was live on TalkSport. Let me tell you that the Macclesfield chairman, Rob Specker, has told TalkSport that today's win equates to winning half of their annual earnings. This is what the FA Cup is all about. You don't need me to tell you, this is why we love it for days like this. But that represents the greatest FA Cup shock of all time. Macclesfield 2, the Holders Palace 1, and Crystal Palace go out. Semenyo's come off. Doku has gone on. Let's see what Doku's got in his locker. Elsewhere, latest scores. By the way, there was an incredible interview Natalie Sawyer with Oliver Glasner after the game at Macclesfield. The Crystal Palace manager described it all as disappointing, embarrassing, not acceptable, said there will be changes, said he had no idea if he could spend in this window, and claimed that the under-21s would have done better. He said things need to change. It was sensational stuff. One wonders if maybe that's time up and he's had enough of the whole thing. We shall see. Let's have a look at the latest scores in League One. Bolton back at the Posh through Sam Dolby, 2-1 to Peterborough at London Road. Leighton Orient 1, the leaders Cardiff 1 in League 2. Crew 1, bottom of the table Harrogate 0. Leaders Bromley are 2-0 up at Tranmere. National League, Solihull Moors are 4-0 up at Aldershot. Sutton 1, York 2, Woking 2, 10-man Hartlepool 0, and a goal in the game at Boreham Wood and Abrams.
Game over, Bournemouth 0, but now being 3. Fabio Tavares on as a substitute has got the goal. It's all down to the Bournemouth goalkeeper, Ted Curd. Unfortunately, he's made a really bad error. It's a ball in from the left-hand side, a cross from a free kick. He's juggled with it and dropped it right at the feet of Tavares, who just poked it past him, and surely that is that. Bournemouth 0, Burton Albion 3.
Well, the Bournemouth manager, Luke Garrett, took them to a 5th round side Everton 4 years ago. They lost 2-0 to Frank Lampard's side that day. Incredible run for a non-league side. He's talked about the club's magical relationship with the cup, but not today, although it is the 4th time in 6 seasons they've got to the 3rd round of the FA Cup, which is some achievement. Bear in mind they've got to go through 4th qualifying rounds as well, these non-league sides. Goal in the Scottish Premiership, Celtic 3, Dundee United 0, Benjamin Nugget. This is Mine O'Neill working his magic straight away back at Celtic, and Oscar scored their 2-goal lead. Carol Lisby makes it Peterborough 3, Bolton 1. You're listening to TalkSport, and we've got a goal, another FA Cup goal at Newcastle. Steve Anderson.
It's Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 2, and what a goal from David Brooks. He's run nearly the length of the field when Newcastle lost the ball on the edge of Bournemouth's box, and he's gone for the pass inside. Sven Botman has Wilson, and in the end he's just whipped his right foot round and into the bottom right-hand corner. Ramsdale no chance. Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 2, live on TalkSport 2.
Well, I've got to say, Eddie Howe's only negative when he was manager of Bournemouth was his poor record in the FA Cup. Now, Newcastle had been knocked out by Cambridge, Sheffield Wednesday, Man City 2 years ago in the quarter-final, is no shame. Home to Brighton last season in round 5, and they're 2-1 down. Newcastle and home to his old club, Bournemouth. Harry Redknapp's Bournemouth won a penalty shootout at Newcastle in the FA Cup in 1992. That's the last time Bournemouth went there in the FA Cup. They are winning 2-1 live on TalkSport 2. And a goal in Scotland in the Championship. Red Rovers were 2 down at half. It's 2-2 now. Josh Mullin has levelled it up. This is TalkSport.
He's having a blinder. He's clipped the post. He's looking formidable. Then his game might be over, but yours isn't. With Betfair's Safe Stop, your bet simply rolls onto the player coming on. Playing a different league with Betfair.
Valid on selected leagues and markets only. Applies to singles, multiples, and bet builder bets on qualified player outcome selections. Does not apply to odds boosts, T's and C's, and exclusions apply. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
My mum, a legend to the end. A tough time made easier by Co-op Funeral Care. A proper chat over a cuppa, a few classic mummisms, that camping trip in Skegness, and we've got it. A brilliant goodbye that felt right.
We're here in your community to guide, support, or simply talk things through. However you choose to say goodbye, we help you own it. Co-op, owned by you, right by you. Such Co-op Funeral Care for your nearest funeral home.
On your marks, get set, go hybrid. The new Toyota Aygo Cross Hybrid. More oomph than a Friday feeling. And smoother than your last online date. More confidence, more go. In a new hybrid engine with 0% APR representative over 24 months. The new Toyota Aygo Cross Hybrid. Go on. Visit your local Toyota centre. Price on £21,595. Available on Toyota PCP when financed through Toyota Financial Services by 31st March 2026. Optional final payment indemnities may be required. See website conditions apply.
Pleasure yourself with football. FA Cup game day live on TalkSport.
Martin O'Neill has got an aura about him, said the Dundee United manager Jim Goodwin, and he's being proved correct. It's 4-0 to Celtic against Dundee United. Dyson Maeda has got the 4th Kilmarnock equaliser. Livingston in the battle of the bottom 2. Marcus Dackers makes it 1 apiece. Let's go to the cup tie. Craven Cottage out with Martin and Sam Allard.
And it's a really good cup tie. Fulham 1, Middlesbrough 1. Harry Wilson equalising about 10 minutes ago with a really good goal coming off the bench. Since then, both sides have had a really good chances to go in front. Tommy Conway, who's been a constant live wire up front for Middlesbrough, had a shot inside the box, unmarked to hit the bar. Probably should have done better. And then Harry Wilson and Raul Jimenez played lovely 1-2 with each other. Wilson set Kevin away down the left-hand side with a beautiful ball. Kevin, he carried it, cutting on his right foot and bending the ball just wide. Alvin Martin, this is an open game of football now.
It's a great game of football, it really is, and it's hard to figure out which way it's going to go. At the moment, with Wilson on and the crowd lifted, you've got to say that they're more likely, because that move they just had there, he give and go with Jimenez, and then a really pinpoint ball, right weight on it, to the eye of a needle, and Kevin's in, and that was like fractions away, as you said there. So that quality, you'd have to give the advantage, certainly to Fulham. But I'll tell you what, going back the other way, we've just seen an example of it. Ayling coming out with the ball after a great tackle on Jimenez, and all of a sudden they look like they can nick a goal. Yeah. Anyone's game at the moment, but I'll tell you what, it's a very good football game.
Yeah, Middlesbrough dominated the first 55 minutes or so. The game changed when that triple substitution came from Fulham. Wilson came on, Wilson equalised, 72 gone. Fulham 1, Middlesbrough 1.
Hibs have equalised home to Motherwell 1-1. It's a golden year for Kieran Bowie, the star man. He's got the equaliser for Hibs. He's their top scorer as well. Man City in control, but Exeter should have scored a moment ago. Robert Huth and John Dunn.
20 minutes to go, Manchester City 6, Exeter 0. We're all willing Exeter to have their moment. Thought that might come a moment ago. Free kick out on the far side, the Exeter left, swung in by Ethan Briley. Jack Fitzwater, centre-half, credited with an own goal in the first half. Free header, looked as though he closed his eyes, didn't really get the direction to trouble James Trafford in the Manchester City goal. City have been dominant. They've kept the ball for what feels like an age, about 75% possession. It feels like more. It was 4-0 at half-time as Ryder scores a 7th. Ball fed to it, edge of the area, left of the D, moved it on to his right foot, and he's curled it towards the top right corner of the goal. A magnificent 7 for Manchester City. Antoine Semenyo with an assist and a goal. He's gone off. Reinders, who's been instrumental in midfield, has got himself a goal. It's City 7, and you wonder how many more might be on the way.
Yeah, you can really see the class difference when Exeter just with a free kick, Fitzwater with a chance, missed it. City gone the other way and scored. That's the difference, the talent in the team.
We do want Exeter to have that moment, even if it's 7-1. Just for though, there's about 8,000 fans here. Apparently there's more dotted around the stadium because they've sold out, they couldn't get more tickets. It's a long, long journey, as Adrian said. Let's just somehow give them one big thing to cheer, and that header was maybe the moment.
That was the chance, yeah. But like you said, I don't think he expected that, because the ball came through a couple of players. I don't think he was kind of expecting the ball to hit his head. But yeah, it could be the last chance of the game.
72 minutes gone at the Etihad Stadium. Manchester City 7, Exeter 0.
I mean, Pete Robert, who might just have headed that one home, but actually, I think so. Well, that's well, you now might let it down. Reinders' goal, Doku gets an assist.
Yes,
for that doesn't, but it's not quite the assist Semenyo gets. So, are you a believer in assist stats?
I don't really care, to be honest.
You just want to stop the goals, don't you?
Stop the goals or get or scoreboard, but yeah, so Doku just needs to score now. And then he's got the same stats as Semenyo, so
it looks like he's had a great game. So, as an Arsenal fan has just messaged me saying, lads, it's Exeter. So listen, nobody's getting carried away. We know Manchester City are well behind Arsenal in the title race, but they are comfortably. There's no Palace-type shock going on here at the Etihad. Manchester City, let me not lose count, 7. Exeter of League One, 0. What's happening at Meadow Park? Talksport TNA Grounds.
Bournemouth 0, but now being 3 in the League One strugglers who've been hit by terrible injuries ahead of this game are going to go through to the 4th round of the FA Cup and the Gary Fogan. They've got a free kick at the moment on the far side. Bournemouth have one good chance to go back into the free kick. Just goes wide, by the way. One good chance for Bournemouth is a cross to the far post, and really from Regan Booty, really Chris Bush should have scored, but he headed from close range wide, and we feel now that Bournemouth, their chances have gone, and it'll be National League promotion they'll be aiming for between now and the end of the season. Not long left to go here. Bournemouth 0, but now being 3.
I'm a bit surprised we haven't put up more of a fight there. Burton in the relegation zone in League One, 1 winning 8. Although that was 5-1 on Boxing Day against Northampton. But Burton's recent form not good. They've lost their last 3 without scoring. But they are capable of amazing results. They're in the relegation zone despite winning away at Cardiff and away at Bradford this season. They've been Bolton this season as well, and they are going to go through to the FA Cup 4th round. Let's head to Hillsborough on Talksport. Alan Biggs.
Sheffield Wednesday 0, Brentford 2. It's a long 90 minutes for the home team here. 75 minutes of those have gone. They'll be happy, I think, to see out the rest of the game at only 2-0. And besides the scoreline, which is not unexpected, quite serious, the injury to Pierce Charles, not necessarily the injury itself, which forced him to come off, the goalkeeper, in this second half. But the fact that with Sheffield Wednesday still in administration, money is tight, and Charles is a much sought-after asset. Clubs at home and abroad have been looking at him, so we'll have to check on that injury to see if it's serious enough to jeopardise a possible move in the January window. Scoreline still, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Brentford 2.
Big goal at Fulham for Alvin Martin and Sam Allard.
And Fulham have turned it around. 77 gone, Fulham 2, Middlesbrough 1. And Emil Smith-Rowe able to carry the ball forward. He plays it out to Harry Wilson on the right-hand side. He comes back in field to Tom Kearney, who's not too far outside the box. He's got so much time, no pressure on him, able to pick out the pass. He finds Emil Smith-Rowe, who's able to turn, shoot and score. Nice finish, but Middlesbrough made it out way too easy for Fulham to cut through them, and Alvin Martin Fulham have turned it around in the last 20 minutes.
Absolutely. Look, there's a Wilson effect here, no doubt about it, Sam. You know, he gets the ball on this right-hand side, and whenever he does, the Fulham fans think something's going to happen. I think something's going to happen, and certainly Wilson does. I don't think there's anybody in England, in the Premier League at this moment, that's playing better or believes in himself more than Wilson. And you can see Target, the fullback who dealt really well with Traore in the first half. As soon as Wilson's come on, in the same position, he's sitting off him, he's scared of him. And that space he's made, again, he's popped the ball into Kearney. Kearney then passes the ball into Smith-Rowe, and he gets it on his feet, and it's a good finish. But you're right, far too much space there for Middlesbrough's liking. It's an easy goal to concede. 2-1 now, you'd expect them to go on and win this game, but Wilson, like I said, is on fire, and they can't handle it.
Yeah, well said, Alan Martin. Harry Wilson came on, he scored, he's controlled the game, and he's turned things around for Fulham. And Middlesbrough Grove scoring the second for Fulham. We've got 10 minutes to go here. Fulham leading Middlesbrough by 2-1.
He's having a ridiculous season, isn't he? Fulham, FA Cup finalists 1975, they were beaten by West Ham. Never won a major honour. I do know Marco Silva was seriously frustrated and annoyed that they got knocked out of the quarter-final stage by Palace last season. 3-0 looks like a big scoreline, but Fulham were well in that game. And at 0-0, Adam Wharton really should have been sent off. Marco Silva fuming about that. He wants to right that wrong this season. Fulham leading Middlesbrough 2-1, having been a goal down for quite a while in that game. What's happening at Doncaster? Mark Wilson.
Still Doncaster 2, Southampton 3. Those second half goals for Pearson and Gibson have given Doncaster a lifeline. But credit to Southampton, they made changes. Leo Cienza and Nathan Wood came on. Cienza's given them a little bit more presence going forward. Wood solidified things at the back. Doncaster, I think, a little bit caught. Now, when they go gung-ho all out for it because they're risking getting picked off on the break, and they haven't really created too many chances. But we have just seen Billy Sharp come on, 39 years old. 2012, he left Doncaster, signed for Southampton in a big money move. Can he get the equaliser here against his former club? That'd be some story, wouldn't it? We've got over 10 minutes and quite a bit of added on time as well here. Doncaster 2, Southampton 3.
Going to go in the National League, all shot are in big trouble wrong end of the table. The FA Trophy holders, they won it last season, already out of it, and in the National League, they're struggling to get heads above water, and they're 5-0 down at Hampshire Soil Moors this afternoon, as their big rivals Woking go 3-0 up against 10-man Hartlepool United. Cameron John sent off first half for Hartlepool. Harry Buteman, the midfielder, with the third for the Cards. So let's go to Portman Road in the FA Cup third round. Mike Sewell.
11.5 minutes of normal time left. Still Ipswich 1, Blackpool 0. Even though Ipswich have had the majority of the ball, they've controlled most of the game, Blackpool are still very much in this. Ipswich have not been able to finish them off. Andy Lyons just slid in and blocked Ivan Azon from close range when Ipswich looked like they were going to double their lead. And at the other end, Blackpool had an opportunity of their own when Ashley Fletcher's shot from 15 yards was blocked by Jacob Greaves inside the penalty area. So at the moment, Ipswich have the advantage, but it's not over yet. Ipswich 1, Blackpool 0.
Arborough's third in the Scottish Championship. It's on 3-2 up by both Rovers. And is that an 8th goal from Manchester City this afternoon? Here's Robert Huth and John Dunn.
It is an 8th, and it's Nico O'Reilly who has scored it for rampant Manchester City. Short corner on the far side was worked out to Rico Lewis. Loads of space. Picked out the cross to O'Reilly. Well-angled header into the bottom right corner. Great finish, Robert. Defender's finish, defender header. How many more are Manchester City going to get?
Look, it took like an age to get in from O'Reilly's header. But, you know, the well-placed header, difficult one because you have to go back on himself to figure around the corner. But yeah, 8-0. Was it 10 minutes left to it? Yeah, maybe one more. Hopefully for Exeter.
4 goals in each half. Manchester City 8. Exeter.
The other question is, there's just been a little stoppage for an injury to a City player, nothing serious, but you wonder how much at a time is going to be put on by the officials, because in an FA Cup tie, there's nothing to gain. If it was a league game, goal difference might come into it, you want as many goals as you can, but FA Cup tie, Exeter ain't coming back from this. So, would you want it to end at 90? You would if you're an Exeter player, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah, of course. Even myself, I'm quite cold now, so it's nice to get someone who it's a bit warmer. But yeah, I mean, I think the referee has a bit of common sense in it.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I'm intrigued by that in about 10 minutes, but Exeter a bit of work to do. Man City 8, Exeter 0. By the way, you don't know at 5:30 you'll finish, mate, so you're sitting with me. We'll have a little bit of a cuddle later. There you go. Let's go to St James Park. What's the latest there? Steve Harmison.
It's Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 2. 10 minutes to go in this cup-tied Barnes. The first half was like a training game. The second half was like a cup-tied Barnes. Got Newcastle ahead. Scott and Brooks have got Bournemouth ahead. Anthony Gordon, the cavalry's been sent. Gordon, Jolinton and Gramera's come on for Newcastle. Gordon's just had a free kick for that 20 yards out, which was easily saved by Petrovic. But Newcastle throwing everything at Bournemouth. Bournemouth are being Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 2. What 2?
That's brilliant. Let's get a goal in the FA Cup at Meadow Park. Ian Abrams.
Bournemouth 0, Burton Albion 4. They scored 2 in each half. Dylan Williams has this one left-hand side of the penalty, a low shot big curve to his right-hand side, and Bournemouth are now a well-beaten side here. Bournemouth 0, Burton Albion 4. How is the Saturday going? Aldershot Town. They are 5-0 down at home, and they've just had a player sent off. Right, let's go to Stoke. Any sign of a goal there, Jeff Peters?
No, it's still Stoke 0. Well, Stoke have just put the ball in the back of the net, but the linesman's flag, the assistant on the far side, is flagging for offside, so it won't count. It is still 0-0 between these sides. Both teams have made some changes to try and get a winner in normal time. Silver Thomas, Baker and Ho, Sam Gallagher all coming on for the home side. Mason Clark, Sakamoto, Sims and Mané back for the visitors, who have been so much better in the second half. Hadji Wright has headed against the post from close range. Redoni has also struck the woodwork via a deflected shot. Yang Min Hyuk with an effort on the left-hand side, cut onto his right foot. Excellent flying save by Simpkin. So Stoke better in the first half. Coventry have come alive since the restart, but with 8 minutes of normal time remaining, we are headed for extra time. It's Stoke 0, Coventry 0.
And we are, of course, if there are any of those ties are level like the Stoke one at 19, then it does go to extra time, and we'll do some sort of score penalties if it's level after extra time as well. FA Cup third round then, these 3 o'clock kickoffs. Bournemouth 0, Burton Albion 4, Burnley 4, Millwall 0, Doncaster 2, Southampton 3, Fulham 2, Middlesbrough 1, Ipswich 1, Blackpool 0, Manchester City 8, Exeter City 0, Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 2 is live on TalkSport 2, Brentford 2 for Sheffield Wednesday, and still goalless Stoke and Coventry. In League 1, it's Leyton Orient 1, the leaders Cardiff 1, Cross 3, Bolton 1, League 2, Crewe 1, Harrogate 0, Bromley at 2 for Tranmere, Bromley top of the table. National League also over 10 down, 5 down, and Solo. Sutton 1, York 2, York going top. Woking 3, 10 man Hartlepool 0. FA Trophy 4th round, Chatham 1, Carlisle 0. Still the score, it's Ipswich 0, Forest Green 1, Hereford 1, Fylde 2, Leatherhead 2, Horsham 1, Marine 1, Gloucester City 1, Walton Hersham has just taken the lead against Bradley 1-0, and Yeovil 0, Upchurch 0, and then the Scottish Premiership, Celtic 4, Dundee United 0, Hibs 0, Motherwell 1, Livingston 1, Kilmarnock 1, and St Mirren 0, Falkirk 2. In the Scottish Championship, Ayr United 1, Airdrie 1, it's Raith Rovers 2, Arbroath 3, Horsham have equalised at Leatherhead 2-2, that in the FA Trophy. And also in the FA Trophy, Wilson taking the lead against Dagenham and Redbridge inside the last 10 minutes. This is TalkSport.
Whether you're screaming from the stands or the sofa, Virgin Bet has even more for you to shout about this season. Because we're giving you a totally free bet builder on any Sunday football match every week this season. Virgin Bet, a good bet. You bet on the free bet on any match this Sunday, min odds evens, max one free bet £1 to £20, except by pop-up people who apply. Bet responsibly, gambling.org, 18+.
Hi, just being quick now. Sorry it's a bit loud. Basically, so I was thinking we could get Mackey's tonight. Had a Big Mac on my mind all day. And delivery fee on the app is now from 99p. So, good luck. Love you. Bye.
Exclusively on Double Tap. 18+, service fees, minimum fee may apply. Participating restaurants, 30 times and T6 in Japan. The UK's biggest used car sale is on right now at Lord Clark, with over 20,000 used cars, all reduced. From Kia to Vauxhall, MG to Mazda, and everything in between, whatever car you're looking for, you'll find a bargain at the real sale. It only happens once a year, and it's on right now. Visit arnoldclark.com to see why it's the biggest used car sale in the UK.
It's the last chance to get yourself a ticket for tonight's Lotto draw.
It could be you.
Lotto, from the National Lottery. Rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or over.
Pleasure yourself with football. FA Cup game day live on TalkSport.
We are heading to double figures here at the Etihad. Well, who's John Dunn?
Manchester City 9, Brackets 9, Exeter 0. What a moment for 17-year-old Ryan McCain on his first City appearance, his first start for the club, ball into him on the right side. What a lovely celebration over in this near corner He's through the family member, and he's gone hugging them, a lady there as well. Big moment for the 17-year-old, a clinical finish, left-footed right side of the penalty area, and Manchester City aiming for double figures, which would be their big, or joint biggest win. They beat Huddersfield 10-1 in 1987. Can they go one better? Big Burton here 9-0 in 2019. Last season, big Salford in this stage of the competition, 8-0. Biggest ever FA Cup win was 26-0. I think Exeter was safe, but Manchester City ramped up. But what a lovely moment for the 17-year-old.
Yeah, we said before the game, I confident when it first started, I confidently looked. And I was detecting that really confident finish. Left foot, cutting inside, leaving the keeper no chance. And yeah, to make a debut and score is fantastic. And to share it with his family is even better.
Closing stages here, Manchester City 9, Exeter 0. The fans chanting, we want to.
Yeah, well, let's wait and see. You want bet against the goal at Portman Road in the Cup match still.
It's all over now. Ipswich 2, Blackpool 0. Jacob Greaves with the goal. Ashley Young's corner to the back post. Bailey Peacock Farrell didn't really jump properly to try and get the ball. He was completely out-muscled by Greaves, who also out-jumped the Blackpool defence to head in at the far corner and in off the inside of the post. And Ipswich are heading for round 4. Ipswich 2, Blackpool 0.
Goal breakthrough at Stoke, Jeff Peters.
It's Stoke 1, Coventry 0. Lamine Cisse has just scored an absolute stunner for the home side from distance. Coventry keeper, full stretch, couldn't keep it out. It's an absolute banger, and he will remember that. His first goal for the club, and it is absolutely brilliant. 2 minutes of normal time remaining. It's Stoke 1, Coventry 0.
Everything described. Stoke lead 1 now. There was a punch in the air from Robert Huth there, the former Stoke man. Let's get a goal at 2 more, Dave Rowe.
Burnley 5, Millwall 0. Jayden Bernal, the Dutchman, has got his first goal for Burnley, driving forward from about 40 yards out towards the edge of the area, bringing in Chalner on the right. Chalner's ball back across. Bernal's first shot was blocked up a defender, came back to him, and he's found it home. Burnley 5, Millwall 0.
Let's take you to Craven Cottage. What's happening there? Alvin Martin and Sam Allard.
It's still Fulham 2 and Middlesbrough 1. We got 5 minutes of time added on. We played a minute of those. The moment just looks as if this Middlesbrough team are running out of steam. As Raul Jimenez was inches away from putting the icing on the cake from Fulham. Robinson on as a substitution, getting to the ball and putting a dangerous ball across the face of goal. And Jimenez with a diving header, and he just couldn't get on the end of it. So Fulham 1 down at half time, scoring 2 goals in the second half. Harry Wilson being the best player. Middlesbrough did have one chance to get back on level terms. Morgan Whittaker played through one-on-one with the goalkeeper, who put under pressure, and he just dragged his shot wide. Alvin, Middlesbrough so impressive in the first half. Have they just run out of anything quality in the second period?
And they've looked at, since Wilson entered the fray, they've looked at a completely different team, Fulham, and I think it's had an impact on Middlesbrough as well. You know, you can sense that they feel like we've got our hands full now. They haven't been able to contain him, and now they've just got to play the game out, keep possession, and they've taken Whittaker off now, haven't they, Middlesbrough? So they've taken their main goal threat off.
Fulham now coming forward. Kevin, I think, had a really good, dangerous second half. Every time he's got that ball on the left-hand side, he's looked to be direct, he's looked to be quick. We've got a couple minutes left here. Fulham leading Middlesbrough by 2 goals to 1.
What a goal here at the Etihad. Robert Huth and John Dunn.
Manchester City 9, Exeter 1. They have their moment, and what a moment for 19-year-old George Birch, a substitute through the academy. Just his 5th appearance, he's picked the ball out 25 yards out, moving on to his left foot, left of the Dean, he's pinged it brilliantly into the top left corner. His first senior goal. The Exeter fans celebrating like they've just taken the lead.
Tell you what, that could be the best goal of the game. No?
Yeah.
Left foot, I mean, not much of a consolation, but nonetheless, he'd be absolutely buzzing with it.
We wanted them to have their moment. They have their moment. Manchester City 9, Exeter 1.
Let's get a goal. This could be big at Craven Cottage. Alvin Martin and Sam Allard.
Fulham have a third, Fulham 3, Middlesbrough 1. Kevin is the goal scorer, but maybe Alvin, we need to dedicate this whole show to Harry Wilson. But once again, he's produced a moment of absolute quality inside the box, on the right-hand side. Jimenez lays it off to him, and with the outside perfection and taps the ball into the back post. Another really good Fulham goal.
Well, he's in a place, Harry Wilson, that you think, well, you all dream of that being. Everything he does, he's got complete confidence in, and this is something that nobody in the ground seen. I didn't see it coming there. You know, I've got a better view than him. What a ball, a tap-in really for Kevin.
We're heading to full-time. Fulham 3, Middlesbrough 1.
Another one. Here at the Etihad, Robert Hoof and John Dunn.
Manchester City 10, Exeter 1. Rico Lewis is second of the game. It looked as though the chance had gone. It came to Doku 6 yards out. Exeter defenders got around him and blocked it. It fell free to Rico Lewis. Right-footed, has lasted it. It has equalled Manchester City's biggest ever score. 1987 at Main Road, they beat Huddersfield 10-1. It's the same scoreline here. A bit of history in front of us, Robert Hoof. In fact, we'll move on to Manchester City 10, Exeter 1.
Yeah, let's get to St James Park. What's happening there, Steve Anderson?
It's Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 2. It's Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 2, but Sandro Tonali has won a penalty for Newcastle. It's Anthony Gordon, who's come on as a substitute, is standing. He's kicking 3 or 4 steps back, just waiting on Tonali to leave the field. He holds his breath as Petrovic stands in the middle of the goal at the Gallagher end. Anthony Gordon comes on. A 4th round place is up for grabs here. He saves it, Bournemouth go through. He scores, we go into 30 minutes of injury time. We're just waiting on the assistant to get into position. Anthony Gordon steps up. There's a hush here at St James's Park. It's live on TalkSport 2. Right foot, bottom left-hand corner. He scores! Newcastle 2, Bournemouth 2, live on TalkSport 2. And we go for another 30 minutes.
It's going to be live on TalkSport 2. We'll keep you up to date with events at St James Park on TalkSport. Now, let's get full time in the FA Cup third round. A turf more easy for home side Dave Rowe.
It's finished Burnley 5, Millwall 1. A late consolation for Millwall, scored by Josh Pilgrim, but making no difference to the game. Burnley in complete control and comfortably through. First half goals from Barnes, Chalmer and Anthony to put them in complete control. There was one big save from Matt Spice denying Jake Cooper when it was 1-0. That could have made a big difference with those second and third goals before half time. Really made it safe for the home side. They've got 2 more after the break as well. Barnes got his second with a scuff finish, and Burnell also struck in the closing stages. Coburn racing through at the very end to get a consolation goal for a weaker Millwall side who did rest several key players in their championship fight as well. The performance of real attacking intent from Burnley. Can they transfer that into the Premier League? Final score, Burnley 5, Millwall 1.
Harrogate get an equaliser at Crewe 1-1, and that's now full time now in League 2 as the National League Woking get a 4th against Hartlepool in the FA Trophy. Forest Green get a 2nd at Ebbsfleet. Hereford equalise against Files 2-2. Aldershot pull on back to the Chart 5-1 at home to Solihull Moors in the National League. All the full times coming up at around about 5:15. We've got another goal at Meadow Park, Ian Abrahams.
Full-time Bournemouth 0, Burton Albion 5. The 5th goal was scored by JJ McKern. The ball pulled back to him, and it took a flick off Regan Booty as it went into the goalkeeper, over the goalkeeper and into the back of the net. Burton scored the first 2 goals in the first half with Lofthouse. A lovely shot into the bottom. O'Connor's own goal made it 2 at half-time. Fabio Tavares after a keeping error made it 3, and Dylan Williams scored before McKenna's late effort. We started with an air ambulance on the pitch, and we finish it with Burton flying into round 4. Finished here, Bournemouth 0, Burton Albion 5.
Let's go straight to Portman Road. What's happening, Mike Sewell?
It's Ipswich 2, Blackpool 0. We're in the 6th minute of added time, but Blackpool have a penalty away to my right. It might be too little too late, because we were told by the 4th official that we'd only have 5 minutes of added time. This might be the last kick of the game. Ashley Fletcher against Alex Palmer for what looks to be a consolation really for Blackpool, who held themselves in it for a long time in this game before Jacob Greaves scored. And Fletcher beats Palmer even though he got a hand to it, and now they'll try and get the ball back to the centre circle as soon as possible. It's Ipswich 2, Blackpool 1.
Full time here at the Etihad. It was a row. Robert Hooves and John Dunn.
Deep breath, Manchester City 10, Exeter 1. Exeter actually had the first effort on goal, and it was a great save from James Trafford that stopped the League One side taking the lead. Then City took control. Matt Lane after 11 minutes, his first for the club. Rodri with a stunner midway through the first half. Ake just before the break after Fitzwater gifted him one on the goal line. Fitzwater then scored an own goal just before half time. Start for the second half, Antoine Semenyo on his debut, a man of the match performance. His cross saw Rico Lewis turn home. It was 6 when Semenyo was released 1-on-1 to score his first for the club. 7 came via a right-footed curler from Ryan defenders, and their header from Nico O'Reilly made it 8. A goal on his debut for 17-year-old Ryan Mikado, a lovely left-footed finish, made it 9. Exeter's moment in the sun came with 19-year-old George Birch's first ever goal. Was a beauty that brought applause from all around the stadium. 10 came in injury time. Rico Lewis with his second, a record equalling scoreline. Manchester winning by 10 goals to 1. And Robert Huth, you were here to witness a bit of history. City ease into the next round.
Yeah, very much. I was hoping the game would be a bit tighter, especially after hearing the Macclesfield score. I was hoping for another kind of miracle, but it wasn't to be. City had absolute control of the game. Exeter didn't really have a sniff of winning the game. I'm glad they got a goal. The way supporters managed to see their team score away from home. So it wasn't all bad for them, but for them it's gone back to league now. Got big games coming up now. City in the Cup was always going to be a tough game. So that's just done, and you go again in the league for them.
Exeter players applaud their 8,000 supporters. Full time, it's Manchester City 10, Exeter City 1.
Right, let's get to Craven Cottage. Alvin Martin, Sam Allards.
Fulham 3, Middlesbrough 1. It feels a long time ago now. The Hayden Hackney put Middlesbrough in front after half an hour. The visiting side were really impressive in the first half and went ahead when Hackney scored from close range. The game turned though just before the hour mark when Fulham ball on some of their big guns, and the most important one was Harry Wilson. He equalised after an hour, cutting in from the right hand side. Beautiful effort with his left foot going into the far corner. And Will Smith Rowe made it 2-1 for Fulham. Tom Kenny playing a nice through his ball. Smith Rowe keeping his composure in front of goal and then deep into added time. Harry Wilson with a great assist this time from the right hand side, crossing the outside of his left boot. And Kevin also got a really good game with a tap in at the back post. Alvin Martin, again very cliche, but a game of two halves really.
Yeah, it was, and as soon as Wilson entered the fray, the game changed on its head, and I suppose the rough and the smooth, you think, okay, the good and the bad, positive and negative. The positive is that they've got a player in Wilson that would walk into any team in the Premier League at the moment, and his impact was unbelievable. The way the fans connect with him is unbelievable. The thing that is a negative is that he hasn't signed a new contract, and whoever's trying to negotiate that contract will be looking at this game today and going home tonight. He'll be a busy man, racking his brains on what he can give Wilson, because they need him to stay.
Middlesbrough will now turn all of their concentration on trying to win right into the Premier League, but Fulham's really good run of form continues. Going on domestically, going on in the cup. Fulham 3, Middlesbrough 1.
Right, let's take you to another full-time score on TalkSport. To Sheffield Wednesday, full-time there, Alan Biggs.
Sheffield Wednesday 0, Brentford 2, never any doubt about this. Brentford through to round 4 for the first time in their last 4 attempts, 6 unbeaten currently, 5th they are in the Premier League. Sheffield Wednesday marooned at the bottom of the Championship, now no win in 20, and after an enthusiastic start from their young threadbare team, Brentford toyed with them, should have won by more, would have done, but for bad misses and some great saves by both Wednesday keepers, Pierce Charles, who was forced off injured, and then Logan Stretch. Just the 2 goals then, Keane Lewis Potter sliding in at the far post to steer in Matthias Jensen's clever free kick across the face of goal. This after Brentford had hit the bar twice in the opening half, and then in the second, a Jensen penalty after Ramel Donovan was fouled. It's finished Sheffield Wednesday 0, Brentford 2.
Finished Doncaster as well, TalkSport's Mark Wilson.
Doncaster 2, Southampton 3, an FA Cup tie of 2 halves. Saints to Rampant in the first half. Cameron Bragg took it in his first Saints goal 8 minutes in, and when Cameron Archer fired in a lovely shot from the edge of the box to make it 2, you thought it was game over. Matsuki, a wonderful deft header from Fellows Cross, made it 3 at the break, and Doncaster looked doomed. But they came out second half. Matty Pearson with a powerful header gave them a lifeline, and when Gibson lashed in just on the hour mark after a nice pass from Bailey, it was very much game on. But Saints, credit to them, they took the fight back to Doncaster. They had chances near the end. Ross Stewart blocked at Leo Tatala, a clearance that went inches past the post, and a Leo Tatala saved from a Leo Sienza free kick. But right at the end, Donny got their chance to level it up first. Darren Robinson on as a sub drilled a shot inches over from close range, and then after a cross at the box, the debutant keeper for Southampton, Daniel Parrots, came miles out of his goal, flattened it. Donny couldn't get it in, but they did win a corner. From the corner, Perez redeemed himself. Wonderful double save. First to deny Pearson's bullet header, and then Billy Sharp on as a sub against his former club was amazed that Perez somehow kept out his his close-range effort. So near, so far for Doncaster. They've got a League One relegation scrap to focus on now, but Saints are through. Doncaster 2, Southampton 3.
Newcastle Bournemouth is into extra time. They're going into extra time. That's going to be live on TalkSport 2. Let's get the full time from Ipswich. Mike Sewell.
Ipswich 2, Blackpool 0. Goals in each half from Jaden Philogene and Jacob Greaves see Ipswich through. On the face of it, only just, but having had 31 shots, 8 of them on target, Ipswich should have wrapped this up earlier than they eventually did. After headers from Kipre and Akpom went close to breaking through, Ipswich did take the lead 10 minutes before the break when Philogene swept in his 10th goal of the season. All of them have been scored here at Portman Road. But they had scares at the start of the second half. CJ Hamilton and Ashley Fletcher went close for Blackpool, but finally Ipswich got their second goal. Jacob Greaves' close-range header from an Ashley Young corner. And then there was a little bit of concern at the end. Deep into added time, Greaves brought down Scott Banks inside the area. Ashley Fletcher stepped up to convert, but there just wasn't enough time for Blackpool to get an equaliser. Ipswich 2, Blackpool 1.
And did Stoke make it through in the end with that absolute banger, Jeff Peters?
They did. Stoke 1, Coventry 0. A real piece of magic with 2 minutes to go. Settled this all-championship affair. French winger Lamine Cisse delivered the quality. 25 yards out, he took a touch and then sent a sensational, sublime finish into the top corner. A first goal for the summer signing. It saved some blushes for Manhoop and Mabama, who missed gilt-edged chances in the first half. Coventry struck the woodwork twice through Wright and Redoni. 8 changes for them. On-loan debutants Essay and Yang were lively, but it's 4 without a win for the Sky Blues. Stoke 1, Coventry 0.
And let's get the latest then. At St James Park, Steve Harrison.
It's Newcastle 2, Bournemouth 2. There's 2 minutes gone in extra time, and Evan Nielsen's just gone round Ramsdale, but good clear off the line from Malik Chow. This game's been an epic. A quiet first half. Barnes got the first goal. Then, Alex Scott had the freedom of St James's Park for the second. Brooks probably had the goal to win the game. It was an absolute beauty of a finish with a right foot from 20 yards out. But Gordon come on as a sub, and he took the penalty which took this game into extra time. We are 3 minutes in. Get yourselves over to TalkSport. Alan Briggs, Mickey Graham have got this epic FA Cup tie. It's Newcastle 2, Bournemouth 2.
Yeah, that's on TalkSport 2. Here on TalkSport, we're going to have a 5:45 kick-off in the FA Cup third round. It's all Premier League. It's Spurs against Aston Villa. Let's get the teams with the commentator, Joe Shannon.
And there were 5 changes for Spurs tonight. Danso in for the suspended Romero. Davis starts in place of Spencer left back. Gray, Odobert and Richarlison also come in. Bergkamp and Bentancur are both out injured for Tottenham, but Udogi and Solanke are among the subs. Vicario is in goal. Porro, Danso, Van der Ven and Davis. Polinia and Gray, Odobert, Xavi Simons and Tell behind Richarlison up front. Rotation for Villa, who make 6 changes, but it is still a strong side. Bizzett replaces the injured Martinez in goal. The Argentine hasn't made it today. There are starts for Pau Torres, Bogard, Matson, Buendia and Marlon, with Sancho, Watkins and Tielemans all on a strong-looking bench. Morgan Rogers is in the starting 11, having scored 3 goals in 4 appearances against Spurs, including on this ground in the Premier League earlier this season. It's Bizzett in goal, Cash, Ponce, Pau Torres and Matson, Kamara and Bogard, McGinn, Rogers and Buendia behind Daniel Marlon up front.
Joe, thank you very much. That's coming up on TalkSport. 5:45 kick-off at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. On that game, let's take a look at the latest odds, all thanks to Betfair.
Odds update on TalkSport with Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sum from Betfair. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Well, rotation from Villa. Spurs going strong. Spurs 7-5, draw 2-1. Villa 6-4. Richarlison and Daniel Marlon to have 2 or more shots on target each, and to be fouled 2 or more times each. 80-1. Aston Villa to win. Aston Villa most corners and Tottenham most cards. Put those together as 12-1. That's all thanks to Betfair. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Odds update on TalkSport with Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sum from Betfair. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Going to bring you all the full times in around about 10 minutes time. We'll build up to Spurs Villa as well, which is coming up at 5:45 on TalkSport. And of course, we'll keep you in touch with Newcastle 2, Bournemouth 2. That's live on TalkSport 2 right now. They're into extra time. They finished 10-1 to Man City here. We'll have a word with the former Stoke and Leicester defender Robert Huth very shortly. Let's go to Craven Cottage first of all, though. Fulham 3, Middlesbrough 1. Fulham were a goal down. And Alvin Martin, is it fair to say that Harry Wilson changed the game?
I think so, Adrian. That's it in a nutshell. I think that's what the reports of this game will show. But look, I think we've got a lot of credit Middlesbrough. They played some really good football and had chances to make it 2-0. And once they didn't make it 2-0, Adrian, then I think they paid the price. Because once he arrived on the pitch, the whole ground lifted. His teammates lifted as well, because you just felt that there was a man capable of turning the game. And he didn't take long. The first, shot he had was a lovely. He was sort of, I think what it is, when a player comes on and the left back up against the target for Middlesbrough, Copeland Traore, who is a handful, isn't he? He's quick, he's pacey. He's been known to rip full-backs apart, but Target was comfortable. I thought he dealt with him really well. But as soon as Wilson arrived, he didn't look sure. He didn't look like he really wanted to go one-on-one with him. He sat off him, and once you sat off and give somebody a yard of that quality, then he makes the most of it. And he didn't just pass the ball. He went, right, I'll use that yard. He shifted it onto his left foot. He drilled one into the bottom left-hand corner, and they were on their way. And he was involved in the other two games as well, Adrian. A great player. The worrying thing, like I said there, right at the end of the report is he's out of contract. And that's a crazy situation for Fulham to be in.
Well, I mean, if he does go, being out of contract at the end of the season,